All right. Okay. Let me bump Lucky slightly louder on my end, and also, sorry everybody, I had to psychically hold in my cough, as usual when we start recording. I had to reach deep and be like, nope, don't cough yet. Hi, how you doing? This is Rain. This is actually 67. We're rounding numbers again. Ugh. And this episode is brought to you by our patrons, which requires me a little bit of breath to say. Like Adam Hart, Black G, Kami Zed, Carlos Dragon, JDV 1000 Kristari, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, and Sjorberg. So, thank you all of you patrons and all of you listening, and so on and so forth. We are playing Rain. I still have a cough, and it's very cold. But we're here. And specifically, I'm pretty sure, with nothing in the way, it's time to go to the start of the second week.
Fair.
Which is, yes, the Norlon Faire. Possibly the Great Norlon Faire. I don't know if we actually called it that. Yes, it only took 5 sessions. Admittedly, one of those was because we had to take backsies a session.
So it really took 3 sessions.
Like 3.5. Oops, 5 sessions.
I don't know about that. That still would be only 4, even if we remove the takes backsies.
No, I know. It was the joke.
So I don't understand the math. Hold on. Math gifts. But yes, we are now here at the fair. As I was saying before, it's, I don't know if you want to call it the Great Norlon Fair yet, because that seems like a little
presumptuous.
Itching my eyebrow. Seems like a little yes, a little presumptuous yet. Wait until you're done with it. Then in retrospect, brand it as the Great Norlon Fair. And see how that one goes.
Well, if it does poorly, just never talk about it again.
Never happened. Gaslight the entire population.
Exactly. Gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep.
I'm pretty sure that is what, it's not called gaslight, but I'm pretty sure that is actually a company action.
I was thinking of like manipulate, manslaughter, mansplain.
No, Inos is Enos is girl boss by far. I think Leslok is probably gaslight. Who's gatekeep? No, Konrad. Okay, I got it.
I mean, that does work. Also, I can't actually remember the 16 joke because it, like, the way it goes is it's like, Clive, we can't mansplain, manipulate, and
not manslaughter.
I don't remember the last one out of it. Our way out of this
no,
one.
it was mansplain, manhandle, or man who our way out of this, and it's like pity, manslaughter. It is.
Yeah, and Clive's like, all right then, manslaughter it is.
Okay.
That sort of feels like a conversation Enos and Connor would have in a dumb way.
Man, I don't know if Enos is quite as cool a guy as Sidolphus.
He wants to
I'm
be.
not old enough.
He's a pretty cool guy, but Sid's real cool.
I don't have that old.
He's a different kind of character.
16 Sid has, you know, the Obi-Wan syndrome where he's too old and too cool to make it all the way through the whole game.
Yep.
Like it's you know.
You definitely have that. Oh, you're gonna die. As soon
there it is. I'm trying to remember my Men in Black joke. You know, the Inos is you know, new hotness. He's a young gun.
Just wait till Inos hits the Silver Fox stage.
We'll see in a century, I guess.
Yeah,
all right, but the fair. I'm going to mood board the fair a little. We're going to set the tone because I have, you know, preemptory paragraphs, preludes, if you will, box text. So to let you know kind of what the feel is, because you know, the fair basically starts right away on the Souls Day. Is going the full week, all 7 days. Some might even say a full 7 day. If you're looking for a cool word that means a week without saying a week.
I like saying half a fortnight.
Let's have a fortnight.
Is that like a new DLC? Sorry.
So previously we have described the fair as basically a combination of a festival and a week-long market day. This is, the beauty of learning about pre-late stage capitalism. The way it used to be is that, you would hold your markets on specific days. You're not allowed to do market commerce every day of the week. Mostly because people can't afford to be open 24/7.
Feels more healthy, actually, yeah. Anyway.
Well, there are upsides and downsides. The modern style where you can, order something off Amazon and get it in 8 hours is much more convenient, but you had to develop a large amount of infrastructure to get there. When you are pre-industrial, specific market days makes a lot of sense. So this is basically a week-long market day. And also has festival elements. So basically all of your open spaces in Stonehearth and all of its squares are filled with stages, stalls, carts, which I wrote in my notes as cards, but it's carts. Open fields outside the town walls are filled with, just rows and rows of market stalls and more carts. Taverns, pubs, and cafes throw their doors open to the public. The town guard will be, temporarily enforcing restrictions on travel by horse and carriage into the city due to the sheer amount of pedestrians, because that is, on the flip side, your asphalt, modern style road pavings, we don't really separate out the whole, sidewalk right of way and the carriageway kind of a thing. That's why if you read, pre-industrial fiction, there's a whole shitload of people who are just in horse and carriage-based accidents.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have pedestrian crossways. So yeah, the town guard are enforcing, no horses, no carriage rules on main roads during the festival hours. Sorry, clear my throat there. But your main focus is going to be on scholarly and artistic endeavors. That doesn't mean that, events are limited. The stages I mentioned, are going to be hosting kind of makeshift performances of theater, but also, generalized public dancing, mummers, street musicians and buskers, jugglers, stage magic, fortune tellers, all that kind of a thing. Crusty jugglers. You might have human statues. I don't actually know when that joke started. But, basically, because you have the High King here, every possible, performer from the area has moved in, trying to get some shots. And your amphitheaters, your coffee houses, and even the basements of your pubs are full of philosophical and scholarly debates. Your local courtiers, academics, and other nobles, host salons, socials, and tea parties in their gardens and parlors. Everywhere you go, there are stalls hawking goods, tradesmen working, fluttering over the constant refrain of music and talk. The city is filled with the smell of food, perfume, and incense. Because we're all slamming and jamming.
Sounds delightful.
Yes. So, obviously, if you're going out to the fair grounds de fair, you will be, keeping an eye out for demonstrations of technology and artistic techniques, which I have lists of things to check out when you guys are ready to go out. But there are also a number of other sorts of activities you will kind of see in a grouping, which I will describe now rather than, individually wait to describe to everybody over and over again. So, not only are there going to be goods from human merchants from all over, but there will also be unique crafts of the kindred to discuss as well. Where did I actually... Is it at the front end? Yes. Yes, I have a separate paragraph describing the market goods, so we'll... Actually, I ended my thought there. Let me scroll back to that. My scrolling noise? Yes, so, if anybody is looking for goods and possibly services, there are a wealth of them available. local vendors and even traveling vendors across Teine will have an opportunity to get goods from other provinces, and there are some major moves to cash in. Finest imports from the Marin sea trade routes like tea, silk, and spice, and also their own, homemade goods that they produce, such as sugar and oilcloth and the like. Cane sugar is grown in the Islas. Akunar goods are very well represented at this because of your previous discussions with the Baron. So, fine copper and gold works, porcelain and glassware, fine cotton materials as well. Tempest, of course, the domain of House Espada, has brought many fine weapons and armor. Many of which, if you are examining the stalls, do appear to be specifically selected to be suitable for dueling. Many fine dueling rapiers and the main gauche, the parrying dagger, small parrying bucklers, kind of a thing. Armor sets are very lightweight. Chainmail or other, stuff like Jack of Plate or Brigandines, padded cloth with steel plates sewn in them. But also, there is a lot of silverware and cutlery. Grassy, of course, is providing fine cloths and leatherworks. Leatherworking very well known for there, if anybody was looking for any of that. Animal furs and other accessories are there, but also small examples of stonework and cut gems. A few casks of ale. If you're counting heads, the Forester merchants aren't as numerous as some of the others, but they did show up. There's a decent amount of paper crafts in all qualities. So anything from, like fine, high quality, wood pulp paper to, I don't even know what there are various grades of paper, whatever the lowest quality scrap is. Coarse, burlap, all that kind of things. But also, they have a variety of various forms of high fashion and many fine wines and spirits. There's also some trafficking in perfumes, herbal remedies, and the like. And, of course, obviously, they brought a lot of woodworking, which shows, the amount of things that are governed by the field of woodworking are vast. Anything from, small bits of portable furniture and other just art objects to, even things like, bows and crossbows. Eich did not send a lot of merchants, but they are mostly dealing in their sort of specialty goods. So tallow candles, whale oil, whale bone, and a lot of wool-made products. It is high summer, but that means it is after the shearing season. Because we'll make sure those sheep are cool. So basically, if you wanted to get an early trade on your winter clothing, now's the time. You buy now, not in the middle of winter. That's when you're cold. But the Culinarians Guild is well represented by various food stalls as well.
Yeah.
And yes, I have a whole thing about food, but that's at the tail end of this because that required player input.
Yeah.
And to round out, the rest of our houses, Verity does have merchants. They're in more, I don't really want to call it exotic fare because religious items are not necessarily exotic, but yes, it is a kind of non-standard discipline. Many religious accessories, amulets, rosaries, images of the divines, etc., but also prayer books, incense, other such items, and of course, while not to the, excessive amount you guys encounter when you were on Throne, but there are a lot of people selling various, charms and knickknacks of luck. Nobody's hawking any reliquaries of the saints here, but yeah, anything you might need, they got. Now, the interesting thing, I think, for many of you will be the Kindred's displays, because there are, handfuls of them who have arrived or are being exchanged by proxy at the large-scale markets. Obviously, the Iron Kindred have sent many merchants ahead as part of their delegation, so they're fine iron and silver works, many forms of jewelry, cut and raw stones, worked of various precious metals, and of course, they're very unique styles of black glass, crushed volcanic glass that is black in tone.
Cool.
And a few other cultural artifacts. Baron Oro, while there aren't many Desert Kith who made the longboat right here, Baron Oro has brought many wares of the Desert Kith to sell with his merchants, so wide varieties of camel hair products. There's special tents and woven carpets, selections of papyrus, which grows in the deep desert, and among weapons, you will see a few of their, curved, heavy falchion-style swords. There are some mermaid accessories. That's mer-made. It's not spelled that way, chat. But at the Marin stalls, you see a few of these. So there are some accessories of, coral and fishbone, a few garments made of sea silk or tanned shark skin. There's also a handful of imported Lagartian goods. Various forms of citrus, obviously, are at some of your food stalls. You may see some other forms of sugar. Silkwares are all, the raw material is imported and wove. And there's also, some carob and some very finely carved obsidian. Maid Murray puts on a tuxedo. The Giants don't really fancy themselves as merchant, but in the handful of works, Lady A managed to get them to bring a few of their impressive works. So there are many examples of bison or moose hide, large ungulates. They do a lot of carving of antler, which you can also get from bison, muskox, and moose. And of course, obviously, these handful of merchants selling these giant-made goods, lots and lots of rune stones. If you ever need a pocket full of rune stones, they got them. So, the Forest Fae also aren't really mercantile. That's not really the way they work. They do like to exchange goods and services, but that's usually on a much more individual, contractual basis. The whole open commerce thing, not very normal to them. But since the Fairy Queen is here, there are a couple of them who seem to have taken it up as almost like a bet or a joke to man a couple of stalls where there are a few things you might find. There are some small trinkets and hand items made of green glass, metagrease, and other exotic materials from the other side. Not a lot, and almost certainly anybody buying them is at risk of getting price gouged. But there is a little display there. That said, there are a lot more, you will notice handfuls of elves flitting around being interested in the more artistic pursuits. Also, you joke about pocket runes. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of Stoneheart sorcery spells for that.
There probably is.
Wouldn't be runes, but rune is one rock to the face.
I've prepared explosive runes today. But yes, what was I saying? Yeah. The Harpuya also are, again, not like formally represented, but there are some of their goods that have made their way through the couriers and auxiliaries, and they do understand, a trade exchange as opposed to just give and take. So most of their items are the kind of things you'd see from their sort of business. The sort of shiny trinkets they like, but also various practical items they have. They're very good at carving leather with their talons, so kind of like, warm leather flight harnesses, various bags, pouches, etc. they used to carry. I've mentioned before, but Harpuya actually have a kind of, flying goggle, carving antlers of mountain creatures to, protect the eyes from glare and also random debris. Many carrying bags and sacks of various weaves. And also, they do have their preferred ranged weapon I've mentioned before. They do just sell some of their iron-throwing flechettes. Because, yes, that is how Harpuya attack enemies at range. If they don't want to just swoop down, they will just, throw rocks at you. Or if you're very unlucky, they hurl, foot-long iron flechettes at you.
I'm assuming that's a weapon skill throw to use those?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're assisted by gravity, but, if you know what you're doing, it's basically a small iron javelin.
Ah, okay.
The Harpuya method is slightly more deadly because, like I said, gravity does a lot of the work, and well, you'd be shocked what a iron rod at terminal velocity, does even to a man in armor. Hell, does it to a fortification. I'm pretty sure that's one of the Harpuya esoterics is they get to ignore enemy advantages while attacking forts because they're in the fucking sky, nerd.
I believe it's like something like Raid the Stone Nest or something.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. Nope, that's the wrong chapter.
Just get good. Grow wings. Evolve wings.
For later.
Skill issue.
Yes. Well, speaking of the food and drink, this is now the section of the notes where I have collected, so I will repost it both in text form and also say it out loud. But you guys had a wide variety of items of which you could pick to be served at these various stalls, your own preference to stock up from. So you've included a wide variety of things.
This got bigger.
This includes, fairly common imported normal black tea in the brick format. You've also included as a little bit of a more exotic treat some sharbat, sharbat made with sugar syrup and honey, flavored with various flavors. High class, expensive, a little exotic. But also, as set up way earlier, Aurelia's idea for limonade, because it's slightly more French, limon. There's a whole guild of limonadiers. But yeah, basically, it's a variant of a drink that's drank in Aquinar called Katarzamat, but that is lemon water, which is just lemon juice and water, sweetened with honey, simple syrup, and maybe you throw a couple sprigs of mint in there. And it's relatively new, it's an updated version, but you can just carry it around in casks and serve it.
Oh,
sorry, I was itching my nose. You have a variety of alcohol malls selected. Quite a few on showing your cases off with ales and wines. Selections such as, the Iron Hill Stout Porter. Very strong. Little sweet with a roasted taste. Let's see. The Brown Bear Ale is a local of the more Gladwin style. Haughty brown ale, where you brown the malt. It's a little heavier than normal. High quality, but very northern. It's strong, though. But you've also got, a Stonehearth Pale Lager. Very, very appropriate for the normal situation going on here. Fermented in caverns and cellars, in the cold all year round. Kind of golden or wheat colored. Picked a couple of different alcohols. Some are local, like, honey brew specifically is in honey wine. With the style, by the way, this would be known as Mellomel, which is the mead is flavored with the fresh berries in summer, so you don't waste the summer crops.
Hello.
In winter, the variety is known more as Methoglin, which is more medicinal, and that's usually mulled or spiced.
Yeah, spiced.
But you guys are going for the fruit style in the summer, again, because you're preserving it. Stonehearth cider is also in this selection list, also known as apple wine. Or you might say that with a slightly Germanic accent. Appelwein.
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 Everybody knows about cider. It's made from cider apples specifically, usually, or crab apples. It's about as strong as wine, so it's, pretty appropriate there. You serve it from a cask, not a bottle. And in the local Stonehearth style, it's served hot. But you did also order just a bunch of barrels and bottles of Twin Moon Red, which is a pretty normal, very, very common variety out of forest or vineyards. An international standard. So, if people don't want to be too adventurous, they don't gotta be. You got a couple of, normal style street foods you can run into. Beef butty,
Wait, boy.
which is basically a buttered sandwich. It's pub food. Strips of roasted or cured beef or sausage in between buttered bread. Sometimes you put leafy greens in it.
How very British.
Get hungry.
It's very classy. Let's see. I think you also went for, the classic, the shish kebab, which is, imported style, but you guys are working on this whole, I won't call it a triangle trade, but this whole Celtic trade cycle thing going on. So
globalization.
Sword or skewer and roasted meat, that's the origin of the word in real life. So, chicken, lamb, or beef on a skewer, roasted. Maybe some chicken. You add some spices and maybe a little bit of vegetables with a side of pita bread with it. Or you can eat it right off the skewer.
Great. I should get more water to drink.
It's very important. Drink up, everybody. Hydrate.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
That is what they say. I took a sip of my sorry. I thought of it. I have to say it. I take a trusty sip of my Vault 11 canteen.
And then we will harvest Zydrate from your corpse.
God. But it comes in a little glass vial.
Okay.
All right. The other, I think, mains of the street food is the pasty.
The pasty.
And it's pronounced pasty, not pasty. Traditional Teine food, popular with miners. You make a D-shaped turnover pastry. It's got a crimped edge, which kind of forms a handle. Use dense flour, and then you fill it with meat.
I just have to
Usually
think
beef or bacon, but you can also do pork, hare, or poultry. And
Or
root
people.
vegetables.
Bacon.
No, you shouldn't fill it with meat. It's not good for you.
No.
This is factually correct, actually.
Or other people.
Yes.
And then, for snacks, there's a couple. The bretzel, which is also just another way you can spell pretzel, because it's an old-ass word, pretzel. Believed to have its origin with monastics and priests. It's just flour and water in the dough. You season it lightly. You sprinkle a little salt, a little butter, maybe a little sugar or spice bark, which is cinnamon. And then, it's just something the Bakers Guild produces a shitload of. It's a little more northern, but, you can eat them. You can get them hard and crunchy. You can get them soft and doughy. They probably usually, I think we talked about this, where, if you make them smaller, it's much easier to get them small and crispy, but you're doing big stall food, so they're probably, bigger and softer. And like I said, you want to butter that shit. Butter it, throw a little salt, throw a little sugar. You also just have some, regular stuff going on. Marzipan bars, confection made from sugar and almond meal in bar form. This is something you pick that's not a native sweet. You guys ran into this actually in the area around House Whitestone, but you were like, that was rad, let's eat it.
Yeah.
And then the other is Strauben, which is just a very Germanic way to say a funnel cake. It's a funnel cake, chat. It's a fair. You gotta have funnel cake. You pour the batter in the frying oil from a funnel in roughly a circular shape. That's how you make a funnel cake. It's made with the whole shit, shebang. Butter, flour, water, eggs, baking powders. You top it with powdered sugar or honey.
It's like an anemic donut.
Yeah, it's like a flat fried donut rather than a big old ball. Sometimes they call it bear cake, but it's just a funnel cake. Anybody can eat a funnel cake. I don't actually know what your beer cheese level is. I don't know. We talked about it. You do have some cheeses, and you have a lot of beers.
Fun
How
fact,
close are we to the...
Fun fact, apparently beer cheese is a Kentucky invention.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
How close are we to the true zenith of Faire Foods, the donut burger?
What?
You've never seen the donut burger.
Maybe we should dwell on
I
this.
don't actually know if you... I don't know if you're properly at, donut-style donuts, right? Because a lot of those are, machined. You're definitely pre-burger, though, because, the Hamburg steak into the, burger patty is, a fairly modern technique. Like I said, you guys are barely at the equivalent of sandwiches.
I mean, burger exists. It's just not a hamburger. It's just burger.
What's up?
Well, it would be specifically called a Hamburg steak, but yes, no, that's a
Or,
like that's
oh
a.
no, yeah. I just mean like ground beef as a.
I mean, yeah, you have ground beef, but the idea of compressing like finely
Into a
minced,
puck.
beef into a steak or a patty, and they call it Hamburg steak, but obviously it's it's a ground beef patty. That's why it becomes hamburger. Return to burger.
Burger.
But yes, that's probably something you guys aren't at yet.
No.
And would probably be something I would do my double check due diligence research, not in the middle of the episode about. But I'm pretty sure the prevalence of the burger is from like the same place as the rise of like fast food.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Like I don't actually know if you were serving the patty. But that's like it's one of those things that's like it's real easy to flash freeze them and then you grill them. Which is good for both fast food and also just in general in-home stuff. You guys don't have refrigerators yet. You do not have refrigeration machines.
Yep.
You do have... I almost phrase it as you don't have refrigeration. That's not... Well, actually, it might be true if refrigeration refers to specific parts of that process, but you guys have ice boxes and ways to cool things.
Yeah.
But you don't have like a fucking, compressed coolant radiating gas type shit.
Nope.
Yeah, so you have a wide selection of foods. You have generally leaned northern, culturally Norlon, especially from Teine, but, all over the place. But you've kept a couple of interesting imports to highlight your preferred trading partners and generally just be cool.
You want to know a fun fact
Possibly.
about hamburgers?
Sure.
Because we're talking. So hamburger, because it was originally a very poor person's food. There's no way to tell where or who invented it. It's one of very few major foods we have that. Because
sounds about right.
We don't even. It was either invented in Germany or in America by German immigrants. No one's really sure.
I know that I talked about it. The etymology of the word hamburger is not ham plus burger. It's Hamburg.
It's Hamburg.
As in the German place, the place name.
Yeah, but
originally
it's
gets its root from, like I said, Hamburg steak, but that's like
different.
Not even quite the same food, but it's similar.
Yeah.
Typical America, we're inventing a name for something, and we're just like, well, it's kind of like this one thing. But we did our own thing.
We don't know if it was German immigrants made it in Germany and brought it over, or if German immigrants made it here.
American fusion food. We've talked about that with fried chicken before. That American style fried chicken is a fusion food. That's like West African, and then obviously imported through the slave trade, and then also combined with historical Scottish cooking. Kind of, you get them together and you shake them up, and you're like, eventually you arrive in what we would consider fried chicken. Yep. And you guys don't have quite the same social pressures.
Yeah.
And also, you don't have some of the same crops. This was me and Lucky talking about the Columbian exchange and shit.
Oh yeah.
When I was planning the feast later, which will follow a similar theme, but not exactly the same.
We don't have the. I think, if I remember correctly, we don't have the most important staple crop of all time. Do we not lack potatoes, or am I crazy?
No, we lack potatoes.
Yes, we do not.
It's a new world crop. It's not the only thing you're missing, but the big three I would say you're missing from like modern cuisine is no potato, no tomato, no maize, no kern.
Yeah.
There's like a variety of spices and nuts and stuff as well, but
potato.
Right, is that all the exposition?
Taking a roll where we step down. No, sorry, that was me going back. There's a couple of other things, like just to say what you guys are talking about while you're wandering around. And I have a roll though at the end of this. talking about the kind of entertainments you'll see, there's also, like I said, going to be, in addition to arts, it's like a fair. So there's going to be fair things to go around if you're looking for them. So there'll be simple games of knife and axe throwing. If anybody's got their throw skill up, there will be some archery to display. There's not really firearm like games. You're not really at shooting galleries, but certainly armors. Sorry, I burped there. Certainly armors will be doing the old bulletproofing trick. Set up a piece of plate like a cuirass and fire a pistol at it.
Is there a way to do these games without Is there a way to do these games to display skill rather than swindle people out of money?
I mean, yeah, you don't gotta bet anything. I don't really know what the prizes are. Probably a couple coins, maybe a Cupid doll.
No, Nicola will definitely participate in knife throwing.
There will be various animal-based things, falconry displays, pony or wagon rides. There may be some, menagerie-type stuff, look at these exotic animals. Domestic show animals, cats and dogs, but exotic such as some birds, some even birds imported all the way from Lagartia. You might have some sort of parrot. Monkeys.
Monkey!
Tiny monkey with a hurdy-gurdy, There is also a certain element of, the classic, farm day, sort of show. Livestock shows kind of a thing. So, show actually displaying, livestock, cattle, pigs, sheep, etc. Competitions, based for checking out certain products, like, check out all our fine cheeses. Speaking once again of the cheese situation. There'll be handfuls of, athletic feats in these areas, tossing cabers or sheafs, bundles of sticks, chopping wood, sort of a thing. Not really any major equestrian sports. You're not really doing horse racing or jousting, but you might do some stuff like show jumping or, nobody laugh, this is actually called this. It's called tent pegging, which is when you try and, knock over pegs from the back of your horse. You put stakes in the ground and you try and slap them over.
What, like a mallet or something?
Yes. Mallet or just like a baton.
Is this the fucking...
to simulate the sword.
Is this like the precursor to fucking polo?
Honestly, probably. It's an ancient cavalry sport, so it's like really, really old. But yeah, no, there's, 10 pegs on the ground, and you have a stick or a lance, and you try and stick them in on the spot.
Polo's fucking old. Jesus.
Yeah, a lot of equestrian sports are very old. Like I said, you guys aren't a very equestrian, or rather, I should say, a very big equestrian culture. Sorry, I was just double-checking the Wikipedia page for the history, and it's got a very unfortunate header name. Notable tent peggers. That's not wrong, but I would have phrased that differently myself.
It's why I always feel weird when it's like my friends say, one of my Texan friends is I can't peg at it, and it's like, dude, I think you need to say it differently.
Oh no, I can tell you the best one. I need to say this because it's the funniest fucking thing ever. So there's an old term in oil, when you find oil, when you find a rich deposit of oil called a glory hole.
That is probably
there are many video clips. Well, no, there are many clips of the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, who's 170 or something. I don't know how old he is. He looks like Emperor Palpatine. No, he won't die. But no, there's a bunch of fun times like, I love me that glory hole. Get me some of that glory hole.
Sorry, the preamble of calling me 170 years old really, that tickled me. That put my life in danger. Okay, all right. Anyway, yes, the next of my phases I have for us walking around, but I would actually, this is mechanically to understand how well this is going. This will be an improve the culture roll. You are not actually rolling to increase your sovereignty because your sovereignty is already really fucking high. But I would like the house as a whole to make a improving the culture roll for how well you're hosting this. Yeah, your sovereignty is 5, so you can't actually make it higher with a roll anyway. But improve the culture is territory plus treasure. So currently...
That'll be 9 dice. I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, it was very strong.
Will they both get penalized, or we're just doing this like as a thing?
Oh, I mean, you're rolling them. Yes, they will get penalized. The company's doing something.
Okay.
You guys are hosting a fair.
I see 3 1s and 2 5s.
2 5s. Not a great roll, but there was no difficulty. Like I said, you're not actually raising sovereignty.
Should do I need to roll for them?
Not yet. We're not.
Okay, sorry.
You guys are not yet walking around, because if you're walking around, I have dice I want to roll to see. But this is the general tone for the whole rest of the week. I do not have to reiterate any of that in the future. But the fair's going pretty good. You guys have successfully held it. You're, obviously, since it is made of territory plus treasure, you guys are showing off the breadth of your house's resources very well. The sort of merchant guilds and laborers favored by House Logi are very fully on display. Lots of trade is going on. Like I said, if you needed to, you could hypothetically have raised sovereignty, but you guys are already sovereignty 5. You don't need that shit.
Good.
Thinking
Crazy
kind of simple without thinking about it.
All right, okay. My patrons tab. I don't need that open anymore. Alrighty, but that is then basically the rest of your week. There are no fixed events going on in the calendar, except that I should probably open. Here we go. Sorry, I should open my outline in full so I can actually tab to things like the calendar, because it'll be on the day will be the Midsummer Gala at the end of the week. And where did Aramita say she wants to put her? Yes, okay. So she's going to display her hot air balloon on the Ferns Day before the gala in the afternoon, after, various meetings and stuff have gone on. So you guys are basically free until the end of the week. So, any of you want to be walking around doing stuff. If Nicola wants to go out and roll things to throw knives at stuff. I don't know if it's the best immediate jump of our time, but I know several of you are interested in the fair, and several of you want to hang out with other people in the fair.
So at least for the first day of the fair, I probably wouldn't be doing anything. Just because I would I have a booth, and I would also, one thing I was wondering is, could I have my why can't I think of this? I'm thinking of a word that is definitely not the word we use. Attendant. Thank you. Attendant. I wanted to say house Carl, but I'm like, no. I want to. Can I have my attendant manning a booth?
Yeah. What are you selling?
I am selling orichalcum pieces, because that's what I do. This is just by the way, this is just I'm not actually going to do the no.
Well, all right, hold on. Hey,
don't even roll.
Okay, all right, let's try this.
No, I'm not gonna rot him.
No, we're not actually gonna try it.
No.
But I like how
Also,
this go, like he can stop it. I would be like, well, let's see
I
what your site is.
I will remember. My attendant is well, I think we have the same body now, but she was stronger than me initially.
Yeah, it's not. That's not actually good against about theft prevention.
True.
But well, to see how well you do at business, go ahead and roll your command plus haggle.
Command plus haggle, you say? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Probably he doesn't fail and get robbed, but it's probably. Well, I'll see what he rolls, because I'll decide what's funnier.
Why am I putting parentheses in that? That I don't need to do that.
No, it's just dice. Or poly, technically, but yeah, you type the dice in there.
That's 4 dice.
Hi. Okay.
Crime time.
Hey, I have three skill in haggle.
No. Crime time is actually pretty slean. Slim. Don't know what I'm saying.
Slim.
But you guys succeeded in your improve the culture role. The things are going pretty well. Like your town guard is enforcing certain things. There are some things going on that I might discuss if anybody's interested in the more shiftier or side type businesses of your Faire. That sure wasn't very sweet of you. But like I don't think, especially knowing Nicola, he's not gonna be like setting up a booth in like a back alley or in the middle of like, you know, the farm segment. Like he's not down in the middle of that livestock show, you know, next to the people selling world's largest wheel of cheese. So he's probably not getting robbed by masked men. He is also probably not getting swindled real hard. I just personally imagine that you're not doing a lot of sales.
Yep. No, that's fair. Nicola that would be an appropriate way for Nicola to fail because he does not understand. But I would be doing my own booth on like a science symposium, about my arm.
Well, yeah, you don't have to have a booth to have academic talks. Those are kinds of ongoing. You would be either freestanding in like an amphitheater giving lectures, or like, you know, be guesting at like a tavern or pub.
I would be hella doing that. I'm giving so many goddamn lectures.
Everything he's learned about anatomy.
Just imagine, like, so this is what happens. This is what a bisected thorax looks like on a human. People just vomit in their audience.
Honestly, real, true. Actually, how it goes.
I suppose
considering you're not doing this. You're not doing theater surgery.
I suppose I'm too desensitized to this.
But
by the way, the word I was looking for was bifurcated, not dissected.
But yes, that's what Nicola is doing. Is he's doing a lot of lecturing, and he's trying to hawk his honoricalcum, but without a company or a guild mark.
Should I have used Olympia's command plus haggle instead? Because technically she's manning the booth.
Nah, you definitely said you're doing it on your first day, so I think we're going for you, bud.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
He's thinking.
I'm thinking. If anyone else has something they want to interject with, please go ahead.
Well, in which case, Logesh will invite Ainara. Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking initiative.
He's striking while the iron is hot. Go for it.
Yeah. So Logesh will take this. Hold on, I can't find the thing I'm looking for. We'll take this moment to invite Ainara out to enjoy some festival games, but also make it a challenge. Fuck! When I said I couldn't find the thing I was looking for, it was this.
Alright, clean it up.
Exact same GIF.
Yeah, I typed in well.
Alright, I think we peaked today. Show's over.
Okay, alright, okay.
Well, I saw the first one, and Lucky and I had like a brain blast.
Alright, we peaked sync with Loth sync today.
Well, I'm feeling better now. I read something that was quite disturbing earlier, which is why I was in a mood. Wanted to become floor Loth.
Right. Okay.
But yes.
But for the moment, we're cooking.
Yes. So basically, a date with Ainara, but also because I have a feeling she is that kind of competitive person, she will have the... She will enjoy competitive games against Logesh.
All right, well, roll body plus athletics then, bud.
I have no idea what this gift is from.
I also have no idea. Also, there's a lot that I keep accidentally clicking my monstrum list and not clicking the proper actual place where my stats are stored.
3 1s.
All right. Cool. You have a lot of dice in this.
Yeah, but they're mostly spread out, sadly.
I mean, true, but you're rolling. You have a much bigger pool.
Uh-huh. Yeah?
All right. You've been obliterated. It's my turn on the Xbox D1 says. You're Logesh.
Yes.
You're pretty good.
But
You're pretty good. But you're doing shit like, ring toss and caber toss and stuff. You're definitely much more like practiced in the athletic department than Ainara. And you get to
However-
decide for yourself whether or not are you subconsciously holding back, or, do you just kind of slip up in the moment? But no, she absolutely schools you. Like, tossing caber, chopping lumber, whatever you do, like she's like right there, right ahead of you.
Okay, so since you gave me the option to decide how this goes in a little, I think it would be that Logesh would try, holding back a little bit, because it is just, friendly competition, but is all for Ainara just giving it all her best and smashing everything. So, anytime she, like, easily does a thing, it'd be like, yeah!
Well, as relevant to everybody at home, Ainara Espada does not possess the skill of empathy.
Nope.
So, she can't tell anything.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't pick it up at all, but yes. I mean, I wouldn't say she does not go for rubbing it in, but she does not catch that you're holding back in some sense, and she's definitely like, oh, well, I don't know what everybody was saying. It doesn't look so hard.
That's fine with me.
Does a fucking, a quad axe cut.
That's fucking X slashes up.
But while you guys are enjoying your day, I will do my first random booth you guys run into.
Random.
That's
Wait.
so fucking funny.
Omega. Can I do
You're
the math?
doing a different thing. Yeah, later. Hold on. We're in the middle of Logesh time now.
Sorry.
You said you're spending your first day not doing anything.
That's true. I did.
Those are the words you said to me, so we've moved on.
I did.
But hey, it's the funniest thing I think for Ainara and Logesh's Chad date. You guys are kind of wandering around some places looking for some heavy things, and happen to walk by a booth full of printers selling a dictionary of the Crownish language. They have produced a single large volume text print which contains as many words in the Crownish language they could find, with meanings arranged alphabetically. It is incredibly heavy. They are large ass books because they are the first generation of dictionaries. Yes, absolutely a burglar stunner. Bulky, heavy, but it was developed, by working with several professors, teachers, and scholars at the Royal Archive to kind of, create a single codified work, because technically there have been dictionaries before this. The humans, since they've had written word, have been, writing down lists of words, but most of those were, informal. This is like a formalized dictionary in a format we in real life would recognize as a thing as a dictionary. And I don't know if Logesh really stops to interrogate this at all, but the printers can be overheard talking about the archives, Royal Archives' next project is they're planning on developing sets of encyclopedias to summarize common knowledge next. But yes, you walk by the booth of the dictionary. There is a printer's apprentice, trying his best to fucking, dictionary here, dictionary of the Crownish language. Every word we can find. Definitions right here. Nouns, verbs, adverbs. Maybe a few adjectives. Oh, right here. If you can't read, it's real great at stunning your enemies.
It'd be funny if you just fucking
So,
did a demonstration of throwing it,
The
throwing it at like a
5,000s again.
fucking scarecrow and the head explodes.
But yeah, no. I mean, I don't think they hit a scarecrow with it. I mean, unfortunately, I think it would be the intern hits another, or the apprentice hits another apprentice with it. Check this out. Guy goes out like a light. Also, actually, I should say this. You may think me saying about printers apprentices as like you're thinking of these as like scrawny nerd kids. No, printing presses and printing blocks are heavy.
Yeah, because it's not automated.
Books are heavy. So like printers are burly.
Oh, I can't find the gif of the judge throwing the book.
Oh, rip. You just have to use your words to describe it to me instead of posting a GIF.
Yeah. Nah. But no, jokes aside, Logesh would take a dictionary.
How much wealth do you have right now, bud?
2.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. You have money.
I forget.
If you had like a 1 or 0, I might question it, but I think you can do it at 2.
You should probably go find a buyer for that gem now.
Which is funny you mentioned that, Axe, because today is hanging out with Ainara Day. Tomorrow is looking for a buyer.
All right, fair enough. Yes. He's got plans on plans, but yeah.
Relax.
All right.
Somewhat.
Yes, you can pick up a dictionary. It is very heavy, but as we've discussed, you have a lot of you have money, but also you have body. You could carry it. So yeah, you are now a proud owner of, and I will grab the.
And while that,
Full
I'd like to
title there.
ask for details if I want to get any more in the future.
Oh yeah, they'll this is, as I said, being run by the Printers Guild or the Stationers Guild. So yeah, they will let you know. Here's the title you request. Here's the local printer you can establish, sort of a thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucky. I was going to say, yeah, can I get that business card? But
They are the printers and stationers. So yes, actually, they probably do have printed calling cards to give you, with like the address of the local print shop that produced these. But listen, we've talked about this. Teine is the home of the printing press. So
yes, because I've got plans and ideas for the future, and I may need more dictionaries and stuff.
that's what they're good for. And like I said, they're thinking about. I like the name Aren came up with, Encyclopedia Trichoronia. They're gonna work on it.
Yeah, and I express interest for when that is released.
They'll let you know. Okay, all right.
But aside from that, yes. Anything else? Moving on.
No, I think it's good for your first day. We'll cycle back to you. Anybody else? First couple of days in the fair. We'll open it up to the first few days before I have to cycle back to Nicola throws knives.
If we're doing the first couple days, Inos is definitely going to make sure he is attending the curios in the day, so that will always be taking up part of his time. Also, there will be definitely time for him where he's busy just with still taking care of paperwork and other such event needs. But on the first day, he would like to try and go out and have a good time with Lucy. Not necessarily anything in particular, but just seeing what the fair has to offer, getting some street food, and temporarily forgetting that they're highly placed people in a high house.
All right, being cool with it.
All right. So this would be all right. This would be on the third day for me.
Well, buddy, let's let the other two people who haven't gone go before you get another turn.
I can't even think. Sorry.
He's melting a little. Oh, this is a fun one for Inos to discover. So you're walking around Inos, you're chilling, you're eating a funnel cake or a pasty full of delicious meat, sipping on a cider, and you pass by some. I think this fits for Inos. You pass by some more artistic style booths where they're talking about a lot of you're showing a lot of new painting techniques and other kinds of stuff, and you run across a little. It's not quite a tent, but more of like a booth they've got set up. But they're displaying a brand new technique which is being incorporated into both painting and architecture. It's called the Quadratura, broader part of a movement of illusionism. So they've got a little like a tent or shelter set up that's got an actual like hard top dome
Okay.
in it. And they've painted it using, mathematics and advanced techniques to have an illusion of depth.
Oh.
And specifically, you apply these to ceilings and other structures to create an image of openness when they aren't there. So, like, you go under this tent and look up, and they have it, painted with a ceiling to showcase the effect. You have to pay a very small fee to look at it, of course. But you can look up and, see this dome over you is, like, arranged to look like it's a much bigger vault with, like, an open sky. And it's not. It's painted. So, a combination of perspective, shading, etc. So let me grab a real-life example that's pretty cool. You're going to look at this picture and think, oh, that's a dome. No, that's a painting. That's flat. This is a flat image. Obviously, the one you're looking at in the Faire isn't this impressive because it's not that large a scale, but this is the technique they are utilizing.
Ah, trick of perspective. I see.
Yes, and like I said, several painters and students from the architecture school are, talking about this and have set up the display, and they're very happy with it.
Oh, I can see why.
Damn.
Are we considering building any particular artsy buildings? Anytime
Not
soon?
exactly yet, but you guys have talked about a few projects. You could figure out some stuff, I mean,
Take a few
you're
years to happen.
possibly renovating the new clubhouse for the Atoll Club.
That's true.
You've talked about setting up some dedicated buildings for, your museum type shit.
That could probably be useful there too. I'll put this one in my back pocket.
And they do also probably have some, like, again, it's a tent, so they're not walls, but some panels set up so you can see this effect horizontally as well, because you can also do it, with like a wall to make it look like, oh yeah, this looks like this doesn't look like a flat wall. This looks like an open expanse, but it's trick of perspective, kind of a thing.
Okay, I'll keep it in mind. At the end of our time together, though, Inos is going to inform Lucy of Sidro Caldwell and suggest they meet. Sorry, I was trying to think the proper
Formal
term
meeting,
for
that's
that.
the word.
Yes.
All right, she'll take it under advisement.
Mm-hmm.
I begin planning my devious looks. All right, okay.
But that is it for Inos, at least in these first couple days.
Yes. Konrad, Leslok, you're talking about taking turns. You're the only ones who haven't taken a crack at the Faire yet.
Well, Aren, go first. I need to like refill my water.
Okay.
All right, take a second. Go for it.
Probably pretty simple. Most of the time we'll be either like out with Rena, just enjoying the Faire together with her, or Konrad probably would spend some time at whatever booth or display or activities the Blacksmithing Guild has set up.
Mm-hmm.
Displaying the fine Norlon steel. Maybe trying to find a commission or two to make a little bit of money for his own stuff.
All right, okay. That's good to know. Good to know. All right. I rolled randomly on the table, and Konrad got the circulating stove, which would actually be blacksmithed, I think. So yeah, you see a new technique that some engineers and architects from Stone Earth are working with the Smiths Guild to create. It combines a couple of different styles of iron furnace and baffles with a siphon at the end. In real life, this is called the Franklin stove because it was invented by Benjamin Franklin. But yeah, it's a very specific style, so it causes heated air to linger in the structure longer because it's got, like baffles and siphon with like back and forth pipes.
Yeah.
But has less smoke be let out into the building. And also, part of the heating surface can function as a stovetop, though it's primarily for heating your house. So, like, while you are, working with the Blacksmiths Guild, you see a couple of these on display out and around. Also, yes, I think I would describe a specific one. Oh shit! Actually, I forgot. I'm probably. No, I think I can work that in later. Sorry, there was a bullet point I added to the end of my list later about Logesh, but no, I will bring that up on the second day because he's going out. He skillfully dodged one form of interaction and got what he wanted without dramatizing about it. But I will say one thing, Konrad, while you are out and about with Rena or working with the guild, you do notice is, speaking of large printed books, there is a big book on selection which is being circulated by the mining guild, but is of an interesting structure, I think, to you personally and to the rest of your associates generally. It's a new book called On Metals by one Jörg Mittermeier. Mittermeier was a master from Teine who sadly passed away a couple of years ago, but On Metals is basically the culmination of all of his master's knowledge that they have finally, put into printing blocks and assembled in several volumes. So, like, it's being posthumously published because it does take that long for large bodies of work to be there. But it is a extensive multi-volume series of notes, which is mostly based on mining, but does contain many references to metallurgy, chemistry, and even alchemy, and is divided, as I said, into several volumes. So, first of all, Mittermeier, Dallas can mute others but not himself. I got my dig in. But he talks about basically why you should go into, mining and metalworking. Like, why are these crafts good? Early level stuff. Recommends that miners should study mathematics, law, surveying, drawing. But also, he paints a big, broad picture of miners. As a miner, you should study medicine and philosophy and astrology to find all your stuff out. They describe, the business of how to run a mine, the duties of a foreman, the extensive laws related to mining and prospecting, but then goes on to describe practical techniques, how to prospect for ores, how to construct a mine, all the tools you might need as a miner, and then kind of bridging the gap from mining into smithing, talks about how to construct furnaces and crucibles to smelt ores, how to crush and refine raw ores, how to separate metals from ores, various different forging techniques, how to work through all the things, make alloys, and various factors. And the final chapters are taken up with talking about how to find chemical byproducts, like salt, soda, niter, alum, vitriol, saltpeter, sulfur, bitumen, etc. How to refine glass. Not a lot of new techniques, but it's like an exhaustive, comprehensive list of several topics, including also, like I said, the practicals of like the ethics of mining and simple, business practices. And just in general, a very strong, selection of things from top to bottom, which I think, like I said, I know Konrad has. You have points in both student of engineering and student metallurgy, I think, at this point.
I have, I believe it's student of fortifications, but that's kind of has some tangential for engineering. But I do have metallurgy at 3, so.
Okay, yeah. So it's the kind of thing that I think would catch his eye. I will post my description box text for future. But yes, this is a large volume you find by Master Mittermeier.
I'm always impressed you can just make entire codex entries.
Definitely gonna buy that.
Yes, you can pick it up. Also, the power of this axe is this isn't made up. This is a life book.
Oh.
I changed the name to be more Germanic, but yeah, this was actually a type of volume that was published in real life in the late Renaissance, early colonial period, which was basically like, hello, I am a miner. Here's a series of volumes about why you should become a miner, actually, and how to be a miner good. You see, the mine doesn't start when you find metal in the ground. No. Mine starts when you form a business contract and acquire the mining rights to the land. Here's how you do that part correct. And like I said, I don't know how much Konrad is necessarily interested in the business parts of it directly, but like I said, this goes from like every step of the process, from picking the land where you dig up the rocks, to digging up the rocks, to turning them into metal, making them into product, and then all kinds of advanced.
Konrad does have haggle too, so it's probably goes a little deeper in some of the stuff that Konrad already knows. So
yeah, and like I said, honestly, you might even, knowing that he is an avid book reader, you might even recommend this series of volumes to Logesh, because like I said, it actually discusses like the theory of like mining resources and laws. Like I don't know if you guys are quite at like criminal liability and stuff, but definitely I think there would be stuff of like, well, if you're the foreman and you fuck up and the mine collapses in on everybody, you might be held liable for that. So don't do it. Build your mine smart. Thumbs up. But yeah, there's a lot of knowledge out there.
Yeah.
Invest in canaries.
Well, also, it's funny, Lucky joked in the chat about is this guy a miner or a great sage? I think that's actually what why the real life book talks about medicine. It's like, so how look for signs if you've been fucking poisoned.
You just have to alleviate the headache so you can get out of the gas.
Breathe air good. Don't do that. If you light a match and it explodes, that's bad. Leave.
So yes, we know this. This metal is shiny and silver. Don't touch it; it's bad.
Wear gloves. But yes, so Konrad spends some time. Like I said, you order a set of volumes. You probably, well, you're Konrad, so you probably could carry all of them, but it would probably be simpler to have a set ordered and sent to your quarters.
Yeah. Even if I could, I don't necessarily want to walk around the fair carrying all of them. So
carrying a stack of I think this was like 13 volumes in real life.
So carry a
big ass book. All right, okay. But yes, Konrad, you spend some time with Rena. You look around at some things, and like I said, you observe some workings of. You guys did pretty all right, pretty middle of the road on your prove the culture check. So the fair's going pretty well overall.
That's good.
The Smiths are happy. The mining guild is a little, I don't know how to say, I guess tepid. They are still a little annoyed about kind of the disruption to their workflow unannounced when you guys push back against the Salt Flat gang. Though a lot of that's localized in the salt mining area, whereas the guys operating silver and iron mines out of the Anvil are very happy. Inos pointed them at a new Silver Strike sort of a thing. So like they're kind of like the upper echelons of the mining guild are kind of not sure how to feel about the current Logi administration, I guess. But the blacksmiths are hot.
They still got all the metal they need.
I don't think you guys have announced your trifold plans to get everybody involved with the clearing of the Shadow Pass, so the mining guild has not got anything to think about that one yet. All right.
I think that was going to come in a. I remember we said that was going to come up.
I don't know when you guys are actually planning on formally announcing that. It's probably either later in the summer court or after it. But we're not quite, well, Dallas is muted also, but we're not quite to Nicola throwing knives yet, because let's do Leslok's look around, and then we'll take our break ski.
Okay.
It's been a little over an hour, but decent chunk of that was just me expositorizing. So, Leslok, you've got a couple of days to look around.
I think I don't have. I spend is with Narissa. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go around the fair and see like the new stuff.
Okay, I think I got most of that.
Behind
There's a
me?
little bit of Discord breakup there, but
I'm probably gonna spend a
I
few days with
understood.
Narissa.
Spend some time with Narissa, and just you're gonna go around and look at lots of things.
I guess also visit Miss Star and Kathis like one of the days.
Well, Kefis is minding his own business, walking around. Aramita is setting up several of her things, but we will probably talk about what she's all up to later.
Okay.
On your first day, you also see the circulating stove. Look at the stove.
That's cool.
But specifically the first thing, like I said, I have a bulleted list of things I'm for sure going to show you guys all, but we're going to spread it out over a couple of days, so I'm not running them down back to back. One of which is, Inos went to the trouble of inviting Berg up here, so you'll probably have to take some time out of one of your days to go hang out with him down at the booths of the Clockmakings Guild.
Oh, I plan to.
But I think for this first couple of days, one of which specifically calls it to Leslok is while you're out and about sometime in the first couple of days, you are actually flagged down, your lordship, by the Stationers Guild. Previously mentioned them. They represent printers, papermakers, and bookbinders. They really want to show everybody, but they're very interested in showing you in particular because you have expressed an interest in their craft before. This is actually a thing we've talked about, that you are interested in improving their work and printing more books. Anyway, they got this new shit they're calling lithography. And if you don't know how lithography works, it's technically a chemical printing process. So the way this works is it's based on a chemical reaction of oil and water. They have a soft stone that has an image on it drawn in wax crayon or gum arabic, and then the stone is wetted. And then oil-based printing ink is rolled over the stone. The water repels it from everywhere except where the sticky outline is drawn. And then the stone is pressed into paper to produce a mirror image of it. So basically, you can use this to rapidly duplicate an image over and over without error. Obviously, you can write, words on the stone in pen to have it flipped, but the guild is primarily... Sorry, excuse me, getting very burpy here. But the guild is primarily interested in using it for mass-producing sheet music, but also maps. Because that's a great way to mass-produce maps.
I have points of cartography, so I might have heard something a little bit about this.
I mean, you can definitely see the value of the technique fully. And obviously, if you're thinking about well, how would I use this? It's like, okay, yeah, it has to be mirrored, so you have to be, very careful with it. But basically, you could take a chart or a map that, for example, you yourself have drawn. You copy the mirror image down on the plate, then you do the technique and print it. And then if you just keep printing it until you run out of ink, that can replicate a map somebody has drawn, once you've got the lithographic plates. You can replicate that map, dozens, maybe hundreds of times in a day. You just need enough ink and paper.
We could standardize maps.
Yeah. That's what I said. I thought that would be something that Leslok would be very personally interested in, and the Stationers Guild is very interested in showing to you. Street maps.
In my mind, music. Leslok tries very hard to be, I think, very polite about it, but it's very obvious he's notably intrigued and excited by the concept.
They can pick up on it. They're happy. They're making a killing here.
Also, my brain had this stuck in my head of being would it be called gum Arabic?
Yeah, I don't actually remember the origin of the phrase Araby, but yeah, it's after a specific type of tree.
Another time.
It could also just be wax. I thought of that too, but I was like, nah, it's technically called gum Arabic. But that's probably, you guys are going over your first couple of days. You've seen a couple booths. You've spent some time. Let's take our brief break. Get up, run around, refill your waters, everybody. Stretch your legs. take a bio break, and we'll be back to it in just a second. So I'm pausing my recording now. All right, we're back. We're unpaused. Okay. Now Nicola's actually gonna take a day and go about the town. Roll expert throw.
Well, first, before I do the throw,
throw,
I did want to say I was going to take offer, and obviously they're not
a lot of the same stuff.
Obligated to accept, but I'm offering basically to take any of the teen girl squad that will want to go, and basically give them a shopping trip on my dime through the market. Because I have a lot of dime.
Well, definitely your sister Alestra will probably go out and about, and Aurelia will probably tag along as well. She has some shopping to get done, I'm sure, to check out some fine leather goods for new boots and new new gloves and stuff. As was discussed previously in her oh shit, Dad's. He was killing it. He's throwing knives with his tail.
What I wanted to say is, can you use College Shot and Expert Dice in the same roll?
No, I posted that earlier.
Yeah, you may have been distracted, but I also said a negative, but it was kind of randomly out of context. But yes, no. If you have plus ED or plus MD in the pool, you cannot also use a College Shot.
Okay. Can you use the College Shot instead? Like, if I had an ED, can I use the College Shot instead?
If you take the College Shot penalty, you would lose it. So you can deliberately remove it, but you don't. Again, it's an Expert Dice. You just set it where you want the College Shot to go.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's basically the same, but you don't lose a dice. I think you are technically correct that you could willingly take a penalty if you can still take a penalty to make it harder, but yeah. Anyway. I also rolled Quadratura again, so Nicola, you also passed by the booth or the tent that Inos did the other day, and are like, man, forced perspective illusions are cool.
I'll probably compare notes.
Shame, I've got some very funny ones in the random table to get, but that's why it's random. Is they're non-essential. They're cute.
I assume 10 is bullseye.
I mean, yeah, it's whatever gets best. Enos rolled 2 10s, so he's about to school you.
3 10s.
Oh, a tie.
No, I'm using my College Shot on the bullseye.
Yeah, I have.
He also ED to 10. So.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a tie.
Who shoots first? The other one to hit the other one out the bullseye.
I'm Hans.
Just throwing knives, thunk, thunk, thunk. There's a lot of people are just like, I'm just imagining it's like an escalating number of throws that land in the bullseye.
Yes. No, I imagine
Nicola, you throw one, hit the bullseye. Enos is suddenly there, throws it, hits your bullseye.
I'm imagining they just get. It's not necessarily like we're going farther and farther because that won't work logistically. We're just doing increasingly inconvenient trick shots.
Yeah, like I imagine you next go, okay, what about this smart guy? You throw it behind your back, and you get a bullseye again, and then Enos goes, yes, interesting. Throws it with his tail.
Double horn slingshot.
There's a small crowd that gathers and politely claps.
I put one of the daggers in my arm, take off my arm, and then throw it with that.
Honestly, that's probably. I mean, that means you don't have to worry about the spin. It's just straight line throw. Yes, me golf clapping was not picked up by Discord, but it did pick up on the mic. But yes, there's some oohs and ahs.
I do a backflip while throwing.
Yes, the Spetsnaz upside down axe throw.
What?
Oh, you've never seen that one before?
You've never seen those Russian training videos?
Yeah, it's a Spetsnaz trick throw where they throw hatchets, but they do it mid backflip while they're upside down completely.
If you ever want to see the definition of what a tryhard is, just look up Russian army recruitment videos.
Okay.
They're hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So you guys are spending some. You guys do that. You have some fun. You come out to a dead tie. It's very funny.
It is very funny.
But if you guys don't have anything to bring up back and forth there, if you want to get a little role playing in, you can. But otherwise, I do have an actual a liner that I think Nicola would catch Nicola's eye now that he's actually out and about.
Now that he is no longer recluded.
And I do not know if Inos would be curious in this booth. I will ask Inos later if I get it. But if you guys are good, I'll talk about it.
Good. Sure.
All right. Well, what you guys see, or what Nicola sees, and again, like I said, Inos can decide if he's interested in this. There's an interesting display, probably somewhere nearby, talking about the subject of what is called soda water, also called aerated water. A member of the Chemists Guild named Schwangau. The chemist.
No, I don't actually say that.
Careful not to insult the esteemed Mr. Schwangau.
Yes.
But he has developed a process for artificially carbonating water. He was guild. He explains the whole story, probably like every hour on the hour. He's like, I was hired by the mining guild to explore certain gases they encounter. In my research, I have artificially produced fixed air and placed it in water, which is now aerated or sparkling. Look at this. Pops a bottle, shoots out like a sparkling wine. Nicola, you must have at least 3 in chemistry to be an alchemist, so you'd probably understand, fixed air is what you would call CO2 at this time. It happens in pockets underground and can form in certain fermentations of alcohol, but he appears to have a chemical process to, put it in water, especially with a little extra soda powder. It makes sparkling water, which is crisp and refreshing.
Soda.
And he's showcasing, several of his devices, and he has soda siphons to store and make, small amounts of aerated water on its own. And he's like, and I hope to mass produce and bottle it for sale. You could even aerate other liquids. Look at my machines, which produce fixed air.
We could make sarsaparilla. What? Sorry.
Also, yes, Lucky gets it. Lucky gets my reference. Mr. Schwangau, Mr. Schweppes.
Fucking look this up.
The first guy to sell sparkling water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's.
So yes, you guys have sparkling water now. The guy, he's doing it.
It tickled my brain. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes, I worked my brain probably not very hard, but worked it a little. I had the hamsters running to figure out a way to find an alternate spelling of Schweppes.
1783.
We ended up with Schwangau, a very similar name. But yes, Mr. Schwangau, the chemist. If you're curious, and like I said, he's got these fixed air methods, and also is got soda siphons and soda bottles that you can carbonate your own water.
We'll probably spend as long of time as my company will allow me, just nerding out at him.
There you go. There's a bottle.
But as I have guessed, I probably won't spend too long. Because once again, Nicola does have graces.
It's true. But it's very fascinating.
That is totally fair. Well, this scratches on two of Nicola's interests, because it is applicable in chemistry, but also potentially in cooking.
Has it been like 9s?
I rolled the circulating stove for the 3rd time. I think I'm gonna start rolling my regular real-life d10.
There's a lot of stoves there.
You've done 2 and 9s the whole time. Just roll it again.
There's just a circle of booths with circular stoves in them.
They just clearly got the prime location in front of the keep or something.
I don't know if Inos would be very much interested in the circulating stove. Though it is certainly an interesting design. But I can roll another one.
I'd like to say that Inos has probably interrupted Nicola's knife throwing because he was on his way to go have drinks with Brandon Drake. He did did say they catch up, but so no, Inos probably
Drake is definitely doing at the fair something very similar to how Ainara and Logesh's date activities would have done, which is he's looking at all the fine fencing weapons. He's probably showing off for ladies in the crowd by throwing bundles of sticks and axes and stuff. But he'll drink some cider with you.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Inos will basically accompany Brandon Drake through this, and probably will not attempt any feats of strength, but any sort of skill. But it doesn't have to be a role play. But Inos will, as Brandon Drake, him being a established and accomplished duelist. Does dueling make you popular?
I think Drake would be like, well, successfully dueling sure makes you popular. Unsuccessfully dueling, you should be careful. There are, unfortunately, many men he's known ended up on the wrong end of a blade, and even in non-lethal duels, accidents happen. It's a good way to get a lot of scars and lose a lot of blood. But there's certainly something, dashing, romantic even, about a passionate and successful duelist. House of Spada is known for their loving relationship with the rapier, but certainly there are even a variety of combat arts. It's thrilling to watch men fight. Or anyway, Drake would say, or so he's been told. He also finds it quite thrilling to be in the fight, but later people tell him that it's thrilling to watch.
Okay.
He would probably, if Inos is like, seems like he's at, which I think he is, but just to say it, Drake would probably realize that if Inos is asking this is kind of a serious question, not just as a goof or lark. He would probably caution Inos that he speaks from personal experience that being the kind of guy who challenges a lot of people to duels can make you unpopular because, you're kind of a stick in the mud who goes around fighting people for fun. But should you be in circumstances where, a friendly spar between, peers, or in some sort of circumstance where your honor is challenged frequently, or, whatever, it can be, quite a display of skill.
Okay. Nah, but that's it for Inos there.
All right. Well, I know what Logesh has in mind. Anybody else got anything over these couplers to get into? Otherwise, we can go straight to him.
Go ahead.
Konrad is probably doing a little bit of shopping for some more exotic goods from outside of Teine. Mostly stuff related to the various projects he's working on, but he is specifically looking for a cartographer to commission for a big project.
Oh yeah, you can find some map makers and surveyors. Yeah.
Okay. The commission
around.
would specifically be for a wall-sized map of Troycaron.
Yes, they probably have some what would it be, the master plates, I guess. Like they probably have like the source material for that, but yeah, you're looking for a specific size, so they would be like,
well, it'd also be I'd be commissioning it, and it wouldn't have to be done until the spring.
But yes, they can take your commission and start working on that.
All right, very good. Specifically, also some of the stuff he's looking for some good ash wood to make some spear hafts out of, and probably some samples of various bone to be used for a dagger handle, dagger grip.
Yes, as mentioned in some of the previous goods, there's certainly plenty of lots of woodworking going around from Ferretti and related disciples, and any sort of bone working you can probably find somebody, if you want antler or ivory type stuff, If you want actual, like whalebone is a very supple material.
Yeah, definitely would see what the mountain can have also with their bison and other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Muskox, moose bones, moose antlers, big
Just
old
getting kind
stupid
of a
material.
getting kind of a sampling of the various types, see which works best for his project. And I think the last thing would probably be. I'm not even sure if this would even exist, but he needs like an engraving kit suitable for engraving damascene.
No, you could probably find the kinds of tools for like engraving a variety of metals. Damascene can be pretty tough, but you can work with the material once it's if it's hot enough, it'll be soft enough. You can work with it, so you can get some very very fine. What's the not actually literally a soldering iron, but those sorts of things. Small, very small, fine engraving tools. Yes.
Okay. But that's about it for the shopping. So.
All right. Well, I'll keep knocking at some of my list of mandated things because I think this is something that would catch Konrad's eye while you're out and about shopping. You pass by a curious booth marked as a gunsmith's. Coming out of the county of Dristane, his name is Ernan Noak, or Noak. There's an extra A in there. Noak. Just casual conversation mentions that, his family were originally leadsmiths until he took up specifically smithing bullets and guns recently and came to the fair at the urging of his wife with some of his designs. And he's got some interesting things. The first things he's showing off is he has a multi-barreled musket, which is like an arquebus-sized pepper box. Talks about it. He's got one priming chamber, fires 7 barrels all at once. The problem? Intense recoil. He's a big, tall, broad guy himself, well over 6 feet. But some of the people he's had tested it have broken or dislocated their shoulder.
Oh God.
So basically, the volley gun here is it's basically a massive arquebus. So you need body 4 to use it, but it's width +1 and shot killing +1 killing.
Oh God.
Holy shit.
It also has the spray rule of a blunderbuss or fire lance, so you get to use multiple sets to either strike one guy multiple times or strike people standing next to him.
No AP.
But again, you need body 4. Like, this is not something you can just easily mass produce a volley fire gun like this. But in addition to displaying this, he's working on developing a new technique, and if Konrad's interested in this sort of thing, he'll gladly explain it. He's like, now, what I've got here is a breech loading rifle. Now check this out. And he shows a wheel or flintlock that basically the breech block has a screw in it. It's like a lever, but very slow. So you unscrew it and lower the whole block. You put the powder and paper cartridge directly into the breech, screw it, wind it back up, seal it, and you're ready to fire. No ramrod, no priming.
Very interesting.
So no slow one. You do not need to take a kneel. You do still have to reload each round, so you need to take an action between shots. But he talks about it. He's been working with rifling barrels to improved accuracy, but he's only taking them basically on commission. They're very expensive right now, but he's working on them. And he does mention that he got the inspiration from a barrel loading pistol, which is a type of weapon from the Islas, which is technically a breech loading firearm in real life, but that's because you unscrew the entire pistol barrel to reload it. Like, instead of using a ramrod, you unscrew the barrel, you put the cartridge and the shot in it, you screw it back on, and your pistol is reloaded. I think they were actually called Queen Anne's pistols style.
Well, very likely before Conan knows it, he's probably spending an hour here talking with Ernan. And
Yes.
Before he leaves, he will definitely mention that if he needs any financial aid to send him a letter.
He'll do that. He mentions, that he's known as Nuck to his friends.
No, look, if you
But yes,
bug.
if you were interested, I have this in my notes. He's starting a little gunsmithing company. Might be not only to invest in his business, but also might consider inviting him down to Aramita's think tank.
Yeah, definitely.
To finish developing some of those projects. But yes, no, he's working on a breech loading rifle. Because this is actually something that, as I've done more research, and I have realized that, breech loading firearms are older than we think. The problem is that brass casings, there was no huge advantage over doing it. They did not necessarily explode, though it's helpful, but there's not really a big advantage over loading it with ramrod because you have to use, a paper cartridge in the ball and everything anyway.
Metal capsules is different.
But it's a kind of thing where industrial machining tools, rifling is very complicated to make and the like. But
yeah,
getting some very interesting stuff going on. But yes, no. The volley gun is also known as a knock gun, which is why this guy's nickname is Nuck, because knock was a nickname. But yes, that's a real life thing that militaries did experiment with. Is multi-barrel muskets, and yes, they dislocated a lot of shoulders.
I imagine also many. If we had cameras in that time, there would be many video clips of people flying off their feet.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe go to tri-barrel first and see how effective that is. The common man.
She be kicking.
Yeah. This is all. I think it's in the novels as well. But one of the guys in the Sharp number 2 guy has one of these things, the nut gun, which is Napoleonic if you're keeping track at home. But yes, so that's one of my things to consider. Yes, you're working on firearm technology. You've got aerated water and you've got breech loading rifles. What other devices do we have?
We need to combine them into a soda cannon.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I did randomly reroll my dice, and now that we brought it up, I do want to mention what number 7 on the list is, just because it's very funny for Konrad to go from the breech loader to this. I feel like just down the row of booths, Konrad, you find a guy demonstrating a pneumatic air gun. So remember I said there wasn't shooting galleries? I lied. There's one guy who's firing small lead pellets at porcelain plates and other targets. The air gun is basically the size of a modern arquebus. It's a little shorter than a musket. It has an air reservoir to drive the little ball bearings forward. It's relatively quiet, and the salesman explains it can be fired even in driving rain. There is no flash or smoke, and it strikes roughly with the same power as a powder-driven pistol, so it's only width and shotgun killing for a rifle-sized weapon. You do still need to hand-load the pellet inside. But the air cartridge holds about 30 shots before it depreciates, and its max range is about medium. So, a width and shotgun killing gun, which needs about, holds about 30 shots. Then you got to hand pump it.
Pump it up.
But yeah, no, it's a pneumatic air gun.
That's wild.
Hand it off to our
also, by the way, true to the period.
These are my people.
Hey, it's the Great Norlon Faire, but yeah, no.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting.
If Nicola were a more open and social person, he would definitely try and create a mad scientist guild.
Well, luckily, your team has already hired a mad scientist, so that's what I said. I think you're already planning on Aramita's think tank.
I'm already seeing all the people okay,
we do need to actually get Aramita her own specialized lab, don't we?
What? The guild's motto would be, no one asked if no one asked if we ever should do this, and no one ever will.
Not quite the quote I thought you were going to go with. I was thinking you were going to quote Ian Malcolm,
No, it's a twist on that quote.
I would also have accepted for science.
Oh, science!
She blinded
But
me.
yeah, no. Like I said, there is still a sound. It's like firing a bow, but it's not the flash and the crack and the plume of smoke that a firearm is. Not as long ranged, but still very very interesting little device you found. All right, okay. That's Konrad. Talk about Nicola. I think. That just leaves Logesh and maybe some extra time. I know he's spending a lot of time killing, rocking around. Yes, Logesh, you want to use your second day or some of your subsequent days to try and sell your diamond.
Yes, I want to sell this Doug Dimmadome.
I was trying to think of a
Well,
joke.
the thing I was going to originally stick you with that I missed my own shot, and I don't want to go back in time, but this also works.
You just got to reload and try again.
While you're going out and about, and you may also be doing some patrolling. I don't know. You have said you are keeping an eye on crowds, so you may do a little bit of patrolling around, these things on your own. But the head constable, your uncle, Emery Palak, catches you aside and basically, similar to how, Nicola voluntarily offered to take some people around. He's very busy. Emery would like you to go about, if not this day, one of these days, with your younger cousin, Ember Palak. She is in town because she's going to be entering the fencing tournament later. And she is apprenticed in smithing and engineering. So, Emery thinks it would be good for her to go out and be in the fair. And also to hang out with Logesh some. But, I don't know if you're, looking for trouble. Or, you're trying to sell this diamond and you want to keep it a secret. I don't know how Logesh feels about it.
Well, I do want to sell the diamond. I want to sell it for a good price, but trying to be too secretive about it, word won't get out that I'm looking for a buyer.
You can always try the Goldsmiths Guild.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'd like to sell this to you. Hey, did this belong to one of our members? Don't worry
Actually,
about it.
I think Inos picked up the diamond back in Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's moved islands at least.
Still well, 6
It's not quite right.
Yeah. In terms of Ember, though, yeah, no, I totally set aside a day. I'll probably even at some point see about Konrad joining us, because I know if she's also a blacksmith, I figured she could probably ask him for advice and all that. You know what? Fuck it. Just bring her along one of the days we hang out. Make her part of the group.
All right. Okay. All right.
But yeah, no, I would. Yeah, I'll go check out the fucking Goldsmiths Guild as suggested.
All right. I think just go ahead and roll me haggle to sell. Command plus haggle. Let me double check the value of this item. Nope, that's the dramatist. That's not what I want right now.
Okay. Wish me luck.
Also, I think it's been since the Temple of 1,000 Campbell's? Campbell's soup?
Dan Campbell!
Campbell's are buy 2, get 3 free.
I'm just thinking about the fucking soup chapter from Thank Goodness You're Here. Let me actually open the dramatist to double check if I've got Ember in there.
She is.
Okay, then I will look at my core description. But young Miss Ember Palak is, well, she's 16. She's an apprentice smith. She is, kind of a probably not nearly as tall as Logesh, but she is, on the taller, thin, kind of pale skin, fiery red hair. She keeps pulled back, usually in a tight ponytail. Striking kind of, gray gold eyes. Little, rosy cheeks, splash of freckles, kind of a thing, Despite being, technically in line for a cadet branch of House Logi, being from Palak, she usually dresses pretty simply. A simple, dyed orange tunic or jerkin. Sometimes wears a leather smith's apron over it. wearing, very sturdy like work boots and gloves, which are maybe like a size too big for her, kind of a thing. Very, I want to say like late 90s, early 2000s, anime type design, big boots, big gloves. Oh, and you've made 3 9s. Oh my god, he has a fucking lightning version of this? How many?
Okay.
How many do you have? Fucking take your money. Get out of here. Get out of here, I say. Yeah.
That was over.
I'm scrolling to find. We are looking for... Nope, that's transfer.
Do not make
I
me
must
bring back the
away.
donut goat.
Valuables. Big-ass diamond. You've successfully rolled, so I think you can sell that thing for its value, which is... I believe wealth 7 base for a big-ass gem. Or wealth 5 for a fat gem. Did Inos do anything with this? Or is this just a cut gemstone?
It's just a cut gemstone.
Okay, so that'll be wealth 5. You've succeeded on the haggle to find a guy to buy it. So
Is that added to my current wealth or just what I'm at?
no. You go to wealth 5.
Okay.
That is
You
wealth
become
6.
wealth 5.
Thank you.
No, the default for a
don't jump
big ass
to
gem
wealth
is
7.
5.
No, sorry. I was distracted. I'm like, don't go full Tobey Maguire. I looked up Tobey Maguire as I saw the lightning.
No wonder you found goofy stuff, Mr. Electric. Don't know if my snap carried on Discord, but I did snap my point. But yeah, so
Snap, but yeah.
you find a buyer, a purchaser, probably from the Goldsmiths Guild, who will give you a great one. And you make a lot of money, and you will spend some of your time out and about with Ember Palick. You are planning on looping Konrad into that as well, so Konrad can be reminded to meet her. I should also mention, talking about accessories and stuff, she is carrying a fencing rapier, as someone planning on entering the apprentice level of the tournament. But she usually has, in addition to a small roll of tools, has a usually unlit, but a lantern clipped to her belt.
Ah. I see.
Yeah, she's one of those.
How do we pronounce it again? Lightenricker?
Litanrika.
Let me double check where the consonants are in that one.
Another martial path that I will never have enough spots for.
Yeah.
It's a terrible shame, but it's a real cool.
Oh, which one?
Well, you just gotta remember.
Lichtenritter.
Gotta get that advantage that lets you get more esoteric points. Not as my martial points. Spend XP to get more spots.
Yeah, I've talked about it before.
that.
It's probably like a I don't know if it's like a 1-to-1 exchange to get more slots, or if it's just spend 5 XP to get more slots, add another school you can take or something. I'll figure it out.
I'd spend that.
Yes, but yeah, it's Lichtenritter with D's. Yeah, she got a couple in that.
D's nut? No.
Hey, I made my will save to not do it.
All right, she's gonna use Dazzling Blade. She's gonna throw Lantern on his face.
I deserve this.
Even though he's not even here
Getting a meme
somehow.
of Nicola standing there with
Yeah,
his
Nicola
eyes
just
on
turns to
fire.
camera. Nicola just turns to camera and just goes, I deserve this.
His face is on fire, and he's just like, I deserve this.
Yeah.
Someone go with me to the rooftop of the castle so we can throw Strawman Nicola off the roof and be like, "Damn you,
Sure.
damn you, Nicola."
You got Nick. Fucking sure.
Enos and Leslok aren't even in the scene. Enos just gets us feeling and is just like, Leslok, you want to come to the roof and throw this straw mat off?
Sure, we also
yeah.
Here, have my dad's gun. You can shoot it too.
I had to go looking for it. This is exactly how I picture that going.
No, exactly
Why
like that.
You don't need therapy.
Why'd the straw man catch on fire as we threw it?
Let's not think about it right now. We've got other story.
In terminal velocity.
I have 100%. When I get the chance to do it, I'm 100% turning that straw man into a bonfire colossus.
I was about to say, at least it'll turn into a wicker golem.
Are we gonna turn fucking Strawman
I'm not
Nicola
gonna
into
lie.
a fucking wicker? Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh, it's
We
so
come
good.
on!
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my god.
The
Okay,
Wicker
all
Man
right.
with
We're having
Nicola's
fun here,
face on
Chad.
it.
We're having a day. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, it's so
Where
funny.
the fuck am I? What am I doing? What
Good
what
question.
day is it?
Where do we
Uh,
go?
All right. I was playing about
Today's
Ember.
Monday.
Okay, good.
Diamond got sold.
Wednesday.
The diamond finally got sold. Logesh is wealthy again.
Can finally throw this thing away off my character sheet. I mean,
Yes, and replace it. No, Strum and Nicola is a great joke. We're gonna keep doing
Yeah,
that. Okay,
no,
all
it's
right.
A+
The
joke.
Bloodburn Colossus is like the great endpoint to that joke, actually.
All right. Leslok, you may just knowing you're probably just going out again to hit up the booths and check. But if you've got anything else to do, I know that you guys have some meetings you want to accomplish in the week. If you want to leave those for later, or you take in more of the
Oh god.
fair. The first day, like I said, would be Daya's day. So you guys had a big old block. But as Inos did bring up, you're within your first couple of days, there will be some time with your Curia plans.
I'm attending all the curious because it's appearances.
Yes. You like to show up. It's important. Keep an eye on the news.
But sorry, just like I'm just thinking about it being like the other meetings I have in mind. It's like I need to go do them. I just don't have anything like I don't have like any like fancy things to say in my mind about it.
I mean, that's okay. We do have a historical problem of sometimes trying to be a little too fancy with some of your meetings. Like I can bance back and forth in character, but if it would be simpler for at least especially for both Logesh and Leslok, as played by you, Axe, and Loth over there, to talk with Baroness Marin, we can truncate that meeting rather than force both of you to think too hard about your dialogue.
I think we should just for the sake of pacing.
That's fair. That's fair. So
I think good play character well.
Example.
And make it the
Well-
character noise.
you did pretty good at stringing all those words together in the wrong order. That took effort.
I did try to make sure I do it wrong on purpose.
But yes, one of your planned meetings is to speak with the Lady Admiral, Baroness Coraline Marin, about the Fogvale plans, which you have nominated Logesh as your commander of forces about. So, in general, I mean, just in broad strokes, sorry, I had to breathe in there. In broad strokes, what would you like to discuss with her? She has previously mentioned, obviously sending ships and other reinforcements, but
I think we're telling the preliminaries of what we agreed on for how we'll handle like the Ivory Coast Riders, but wanted her input on what she felt was an action she wanted to take first, so we can at least adjust it accordingly. And then also where we're going to play our forts, so like Coraline said, for how she wants to make a naval fort on the coast of the continent.
not exactly, I think, a naval fort at this case. Like, I think you guys are actually just footing the bill to build a sea fort yourself, leasing her a naval yard. If you still want to discuss a Royal Navy outpost, we can still work on that. That would probably be somewhere along your... probably somewhere on the peninsula would be more tactically available. Because you're building that sea fort just on a big old pile of rocks.
Yeah, it's...
But, yes, the discussion of, informing her of your general plan, which is to... I guess to recap is you're gonna go get them,
And then you're gone.
you get them, and then they're gone. But the plan is, I think, mostly to stage some sort of how do we phrase that? Yes, I guess ground invasion, but you need naval support for it. And so talking about kind of like what she can offer,
Dallas.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through my own words here. Sometimes it gets easier to talk in character because then you just do the voice and it flows, but other times it's tougher. let me try and let me roll this back. Let me start from her end of this. You guys give your inputs. So you guys have your plans, which we have previously discussed on our recording, which can be referenced later. Talking about, for the Ivory Island Corsairs, I believe in the meeting about the Fog Veil, in the big Fog Veil Privy Council, she did talk about, what her ideas would be and talking about tricksiness. You guys have talked about making sure to try and get your offensive in fall. She is okay with this. You guys have previously talked about if you could push for summer. If you want her assistance, she would definitely say to wait on that because she needs to reposition ships. In the summer, they're patrolling in the south. She would not want to wait until winter. That's when the weather up here is very bad for ships. Regardless, she probably still wants to detach some senior captains and stuff. Yeah, Logesh said he wanted to hold back for sure. So this is definitely like she's reaffirming that of like, yes, no, that would be preferable because we don't want to do this fight in winter. If we don't finish them off, in fall, we want to make sure that they can't counterattack over the winter. You guys have a semi-limited number of ships. You've your 3 letters of mark. So you've got currently the Seawolf, the Rebecca, and the Windless, which are all a variety of ships. You also have probably a couple of, well, not a couple, but you know what I mean. You've got several unnamed, undetailed, various sailing vessels under the houses for both armed, patrols and merchant work, but not a lot. You don't have the shipshape Navy buff. Let's see. I'm trying to think how would she go. I think honestly she would still probably start from as the Lady Admiral. She is the head of the King's Navy. The King is invested in ending this. Piracy is bad. Slavery is bad. The King wants it gone. So she can probably give you a small fleet of actually navally chartered ships. I think we did talk about this when talking about your preferred ships. You guys probably don't want full-ass ships of the line because you're talking about, we're not doing, bloody great, ocean sailing, right? You're talking about, what's it? Like you said, like shallow water, close-in island fighting. So you probably want, like, cool cutters and sloops kind of a thing, small, fast ships. With big-ass gun decks. So she can probably, on her own recommendation, place a small flotilla. Let's say five small to medium fast ships. At the command of the Viceroy. She phrases this very carefully. We talked about this with titles. She can place, probably a small naval fleet of 5 ships at the command of the Viceroy of the Fog Veil to handle this problem. Again, you're not going to get, bloody great war fleets slinging huge cannons, but she can put a decent number of boats to supplement your ability to hunt down their ships, keep their shores as well. On the subject of what the House of Marin can... Actually, no, she would not phrase it as what the House of Marin offer. I'm glad that I caught myself there. What the House of Marin will provide.
Oh. We do not have a choice.
Not can offer to you, but will... What the House of Marin will, send to the front. She would probably give Leslok a very short version of that discussion I had last session with Inos about, the way the Order of the Navigator works.
Yeah.
Especially the more militant elements of it. And basically say that, like, they're a religious order dedicated to, the freedom of the 8 winds. Yeah, I think she can... We've talked a little about the esteemed Baroness Marin.
Very blunt.
She is blunt. She's very direct. I don't know if she would say it in so many words, but I think we can get the vibe across. the phrase I first want to say, but I'm not sure is correct. But I'll say it and see how you guys feel about it if it sounds right. I do not want to say that she quote unquote respects Leslok. I think she respects the position as Marquess Logi. She does not seem like she feels, like I said, very, very respectful. Definitely not demurring to, authority of the position of Leslok or Logesh personally.
Not for age, I understand.
But she does understand, chain of command very well, and you have been chosen by the High King as the Viceroy of the Fog Vale, which means that securing the Fog Vale and the King's Law in the Fog Vale is your business. So, she understands that, like you said, she will detach some ships to the Navy to you as Viceroy that will be under your command. So, like I said, she is being, on some levels, honest with you. She would say that she can't go back to the Islas and tell this story to the Order of the Navigator, which she cannot keep under wraps because Darya Korb has been here talking to Inos about Mer stuff. Like he's ahead of a whole circle, right? They're gonna ask him what. Hey, homie, you've been abroad. What's the word? What's the word on the wind, brother? And he's gonna be like, well, there's some Mer stuff going on, Mer and stuff, but also there's some shit with the Fog Vale that's like super fucked up.
Then there will be murder.
Yes, no, yeah, they're gonna be like, yes, interesting. Slavers, you say? Pirate slavers.
You just hear the sounds
Interesting,
of
very interesting.
Steel being drawn.
And then just, the all the weather vanes mysteriously point northwest. Oh, look! Good heavens, look at the time! But instead of a watch, it's, a weather
at the
vane.
wind.
Kill slavers o'clock.
Yeah. This will probably be something that if you guys ever stop over in the Islas, or if we have some more in-depth conversations with various members of House Marin, I will get into the kind of like their... I've mentioned before, every high house has kind of their own cultural history of how they got here, but I have inklings about why Marin and the Islanders are not about that life.
I guess just a note
on a couple of levels.
I guess a note to tie it all together is that after we sort this out, Leslok will basically tell Logesh to incorporate the new ships in the plan once he has all their specs, and just I guess start forming accordingly.
Well, the thing from the Marin side, like I said, I got a little far afield because I was thinking about how she would couch it, but she is basically going to be like, I'm going to send some Wind Witches. I'm not going to be able to stop them without, having a minor revolt on my hand, and they are technically a religious order, so, I only get to command them by virtue of the respect for my position. And also, I've mentioned this, I think, before in Vague, but they're called the Order of the Navigator. The Navigator is a saint who founded them. That was, the first recorded official in history, Wind Witch, who was the husband of Marin Seastrider. So, she has a lot of ancestral cachet with them, so they defer to her authority, but they have, principles that technically means they don't have to listen to her. Good heavens, would you look at the time?
Tea time.
Murder. And one tea time.
Versus
They do like tea. They do ship a lot of it. So in that case, she will probably send a limited number of armed transport ships. These will probably be large armed galleons. They will not be very fast ships. They will not be good at pirate hunting, but they will have big gun decks and big cargo holds that will be filled with powder, shot, and very angry Wind Witches. She can probably detach 3 of those from House Marin's personal fleet. And like I said, this is why I said that stuff about how, I'm not sure she respects Leslok as a person because you are several years her junior and she still has unresolved baggage going on with your dad.
Logi-related trauma.
Yes.
Join the club, honestly.
But, like I said, she respects the position as Marquess, and So she is not going to say these, ships and their crews will be under your command, but I will assure, those captains will be, be part of this cooperative. So, she can send you at least, like I said, like three big ass, like I said, armed galleons, armed transport ships, which can carry lots of wind witches and support crews. They will probably be filled with House Marin Marines, who will be very ornery.
Marines. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, it works out.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just this is all stuff that's just have to be on. This is on Logesh's desk now, essentially. Of like you have this to work with now.
So yeah, you've got some naval dimension to think of. You guys probably still want to do some reconnaissance to see how big a fleet the Corsairs have, but we have pointed this out. You can be pretty sure that while they may have captured a handful of boats, they will mostly be, or maybe, Teine make. They do not have access to, as far as they should not, I should say. I won't say they don't, because you don't actually know. But based on geography, they should not have a steady source of demon fire. And culturally, like their knowledge base should not include any alchemy to make fire sand. So they are probably not going to have cannons. They're probably going to have bolt and stone throwers. Not that can't still fuck up a boat. Like, if your mast takes, a steel-tipped bolt, it's not going to have a great time. But it will affect their, range and their reliability of fire.
Gotcha.
But, you can reasonably guess that they do have a ship-shaped Navy asset. They do have boats because they are an island culture that lives by a boat-based raiding. Even if they are, antiquated, they've still got a lot of them. But you guys have previously discussed a plan of like, if we get some, some reinforcements from Marin and the King's Navy, we might be able to tangle them all up at sea. And yeah, you might. And if you want, you can have like I said, you can have the Navy or the witches, actually roll the dice and do the action to have the battle at sea, where both sides will have ship-shaped Navy. Well, you guys plan some more stuff in there, but that's what you've sorted out from this meeting. Which, like I said, was a little ramblomatic for me, but I had to think about that a little, and she's got her thoughts and feelings, and we'll delve into them deeper. Yeah, no, that's why I said earlier. I think you guys are planning a ground invasion, basically. Mm-hmm. As like you guys with your forces plus the Vanguard forces you can assemble are gonna hit them on land. I actually think, I don't remember if I did. Actually, no, I think I did that. Yes. But I was going to say, if you look at the Norlon image, you do know that they do have a place. Shit. I've realized I've put the text too close to the line. Is that an R? I think it is.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, I think it's an R.
There's probably a way with like smaller boats we could probably.
Which is like some kind of like. Sorry to cut you off there, X. But the etymology of that is, I think, something to do with like ivory or bone. But yes, no, you guys will have access to, transport boats of a various kinds. That's a boat which can hold troops is not necessarily the same industry as a boat which is, armed with cannons and gun crews and marines and, the appropriate kinds of like sails to do like combat maneuvers. Technically, you can load troops up in a barge and, push them over. If you're going to be doing that into a pitched naval battle, you don't want to do that. But if you don't have to worry about a pitched naval battle, moving men via boat can be incredibly simple. Also, I did mention the Lady Bijou did offer to if you want to get the Royal Engineers on that, they're not averse to, rearranging the local geography.
I'm sorry, I was looking up a YouTube clip. What are we talking about rearranging geography with?
We've been discussing. You talked about your personal wish to storm their stronghold, but how to actually move your men into place. And it's like you don't need fancy Navy type boats to move troops, but also you may not even need boats if you given up the engineers enough time.
I guess
Do like Alexander, build a fucking berm.
Well, that's not in my department, so I will not make any comments on it.
Yeah, that's
What's that, brother?
Logesh's
You
choice,
think you have an island?
technically.
No, fuck you. You're a peninsula now.
I'm delegating this.
Alexander, did you turn that island into a peninsula? Yes.
Also, thank you, Lucky. I just saw what you posted.
Logesh, do you have any additional comments or concerns you want to voice at the meeting? Because you're there, obviously, to pick up on all that.
I am. The problem is Loth at the moment is also just like, can I think of anything to add?
This is why I said I'm okay just kind of talking this one out. This is why I said that, because I'm like, I don't... We talked about this. The Baroness is a very forceful personality. Putting that with like, you and Axe trying to be like, yes, let me ponder exactly what my dialogue here is. You guys can take that information and work on it in your own times. How long are we going?
Yes, please.
A little over 2 hours. All right. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to worry about ending early. It's been about 2:15 on my marker. Let's take another break ski.
Break ski.
Fill up my
Pausing
water.
recording.
Okay. We're back. We were discussing a little off mic, but we'll get back into it. Axe is basically just saying that he's not sure if there's anything to detail about the Cheval meeting. There could be some role-playing stuff there because you would be meeting with Lady Cheval's younger sister, Joveg, who is like a relatively new NPC. But again, we don't have to get too much in it. You guys already have lots of friends anyway. I was discussing the finer points of, like, if I recall correctly, and I will pitch this to Lucky because I think Inos had this idea a couple of weeks ago about this. I don't remember which one it was. But I believe the idea was basically to go to Cheval and expand your already existing and on the books food order for fall to include extra food that you could donate to the Fog Veil.
Yes, because during the Privy Council, Duchess of All said that they were already considering their surplus that they could from the harvest that they could potentially send to the Fog Veil. And since we already have a deal and it is and we are flush with cash, I think it would be better to, properly compensate Duchess Cheval for her, act of charity and just buy more that we can just send send over regardless.
Yes, so what I was discussing pre-recording, and I will bring up again now, is you guys are still, as Lucky just said, still flush with cash. You are technically penalized from rolling Improve the Culture, but that doesn't actually decrease your treasure stat. It just means that your dice are penalized for the month. So you're still effectively treasure 6 because Unbalanced Economy is pretty cool now. It will be less cool later. When the swing goes the other way. But you guys are currently filthy stinking rich, so... No, I don't. Yeah, no. House Cheval are one of their, their big things. It's like personal honor and chivalry and stuff. I think I can spoil one of their assets real quick. But I forget what the exact phrase is. Let me grab it. What's it called? It's Culture of Shame and Gossip. Basically, they have the asset where they have a cultural thing about, acting honorably and chivalrously, with gallantry and whatnot. Makes them appear more simple. Means they do get a +2 dice bonus on might plus sovereignty to police their own populace. But yeah, I cannot imagine culturally that Duchess Cheval or her younger sister, Joveg Cheval, would try and price gouge you. In fact, they would probably insist on only taking, the flat market cost, not adjusting for profit.
Mm.
Which obviously would still be well within your wealth limit to buy a unbelievable amount of free, their surplus foods to buy them up. The main thing I would want to say narratively is that obviously because you are paying them to go through this donation process, you will receive the goods as the apparatus for splitting between House Logi and the Viceroy of the Fogvale is not very clear yet. You've just established the position for less than a week. You don't have a lot of bureaucracy to cover it. That means the goods will have to be shipped to House Logi. And what I'm slowly getting through saying, what I'm mushmouthing my way through, is basically I want to say the narrative conceit to this is obviously mechanically, you've got more than enough money to go through with this. You have the funds to pay unless something terrible happens to your treasure score before, fall time. When when harvest comes in, the bills are due, which we will leave the possibility for open, in which case running up a bigger debt could come back to bite you. But I want to say the primary narrative thing here is that basically, you've got to, swear on your honor that the extra food is going to go to those in need, either here in Teine or in the Fogvale. And if anything should happen to the foodstuffs and that word gets back to House Cheval, they're going to be upset about that. And that is giving you guys a little bit of leeway. But yes, that is the idea of the Grand Company. But that's not actually collated yet, because again, it's been a weekend.
Yeah. It's
But yes, for now, it's got to go through House Logi. So like I said, so long as you guys aren't dirt poor by harvest month, you can afford the extra food.
How bad as well too.
But like I said, you gotta pinky swears or else. So long as Leslok, you're making the decision. So long as you're okay with that.
No, I'm committing to this because it's.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. This should be an offer to the Viceroy. Yes.
Well, yes. That is, though, like I said, the theory of establishing the concept of the Grand Company was supposed to be part of that.
Well,
but
I
yes,
thought the Grand
technically,
Company was supposed to be, the support structure and what we allow people go into the Fogvale so we can keep, an eye and monitoring on them. I never knew we actually discussed any part about, including our own infrastructure into the Grand Company.
Well, I will say this. I don't know if we are talking about necessarily your infrastructure directly, but I will say this. I may not have said this out loud, but I was thinking of the idea as the Grand Company as being future, an actual company with stats that would probably be headed by the Viceroy, who for now is Leslok. You guys have also talked about changing that as well in future. But actually, yes, this being a thing that could accrue company stats so that you are not necessarily using House Logi company roles directly on Fogvale things all the time. That was one of my ideas. The actual details of the Grand Company are still loosey-goosey, but if you guys are okay with that, we can start thinking about that one in future.
Yes, that definitely was not discussed. Oh.
Yeah, like I said, I have been thinking about that as a lead up, but we have not actually spun that off yet because in universe the Grand Company plan is still super in its infancy. It's some papers you guys have drawn up with some ideas, and I believe Leslok has done some consulting with others about how to frame it. But yes, I was thinking that you guys might want to act as two separate thoughts. I was thinking you guys were thinking about spinning up some company stats to be in the Viceroy. And you might also do that separately from the Grand Company. If you guys... Sorry, this is a brand new thought, so I'm trying to phrase it carefully. If you guys do actually want to peel off points in your current company of House Logi and put them directly in, whether that is you're calling it the Grand Company or the Office of the Viceroy or etc. Mechanically, they'll probably be similar pools, just because I can't imagine breaking up your apparatus of how you're organizing people who are going into the Fogvale to do work to support it and solve their problems, and also the Viceroy has the authority to govern the Fogvale. For me, on my end anyway. obviously legally those things can be distinct. But if you guys want to literally shave off points from House Logi and invest them in whatever that thing looks like, you can do that. But also, the crown would provide you with some number of resources as well. So you would probably have some bare bones company stats.
I need to drink some water because I feel my head cooking. Sorry.
Sorry, I had to equivocate on a couple of those things because, like I said, some of those were brand new thoughts, and some of those were things I was thinking I hadn't put into words yet. But put those in your bonnet for later.
Understood.
Okay, all right. Let me recenter myself. But yes, so to recap, Leslok, you were okay with the extra funds pulling and being, honor bound to deliver the food.
Yeah,
all right, cool, sick.
Let's figure out the mechanism, but I've figured out the other parts of the process already, so it's like, what's another one?
Ooh, Discord ate that a little bit, but I got your idea. Yeah, what's one more part?
I'm already doing eight.
Cool,
I'm already doing 8 processes. Why not another one?
All right, then I only have a couple of things left from the Faire part. So I think that means we've done some of our political meetings. Konrad's already said in text that he's covered most of the things he wants to hit up at the Faire.
Yeah.
Inos still needs to hang with Barak.
Barak and maybe get a couple more dates in, if possible.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? I mean, like I said, but to say it out loud so that I don't think I'm forgetting. Leslok has said that he will basically spend any free time he has this week checking out the Faire because it is kind of his baby. But other than that, anybody else have some things they want to be doing and looking around?
No.
I'm good.
All right, okay. I think we're probably going to... Speaking of actually moving at a fast pace, we'll probably at least get to Aramita's air ballooning discussion today. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's actually do Inos and Barak then, just because that's more concrete than what I got next. So, Inos, if you're looking for Barak Zikr, I mean, obviously, on off hours, he'll be at the inn with the rest of House Oro's assemblage. But in general, he is going to be hanging around the booths and stalls run by the Clockmakers Guild.
Yeah.
And he will be showing his latest invention, something that he has actually discussed with you in letters. But he's been working with his friend, the musician, Albert Sipos, and based on some of your descriptions of your music box, he's developed a new device he's calling the mouth organ.
The mouth organ.
So, basically it's got a series of openings and then a metallic comb inside to produce tones. Like a music box, but instead of being purely mechanically driven, it's wind driven. And it's got, it's breath powered. It's got a kind of a folksy sound, but there's, multiple groupings you can do, and he's working on a few different sizes. But this is basically the origin point of the harmonica.
Yeah. I feel compelled to buy one and a hat.
But yes, he's got several examples in several sizes there. He will show them off to Inos, blow a little in a couple.
Inos will try one out, and he'll buy a couple.
It does take a little bit of skill.
Mm-hmm. I mean, anyone can blow into a harmonica, but no, Inos is continuing the fill his father's office with knickknacks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's quite. They're definitely, like I said. How should I say this? They're not decorative because they're going to be like the outer casing is going to be either like detailed metal or like engraved or like enameled or something, and then inside obviously you've got the fun parts where, like I said, there's a little metallic comb in there and the different openings, so they're neat. But yeah, Zikr is like, yes, I came up with this after studying some of your notes about your music box, and discussing musical notes. It's a curious thing. But yes.
Yeah, Inos will, like ask how does it work, how does it make the noise and stuff. Like, does each hole like represent a certain note? And all that crazy stuff. But he'll definitely spend some time, catch up with Barak and see how things are going.
Yeah, generally how it's been going from his letter that he sent you, but he's having fun. He's working on some stuff, and obviously he will say to Inos, the mouth organ was just a curiosity, though it seems to be accruing a decent amount of interest. But that was mainly an excuse that he was able to bring along his plans, his tools, his materials, and even bring a couple of extra apprentices along for to do extra adjustments in fabrication, because he's free to consult with you on the trick blade stuff.
Yeah. Inos will probably at some point come by and make sure that the trick blade is working properly before he does the actual final enchantment on it. Oh, actually, Inos will probably have brought it with him. Brought it with him. In hindsight, but Inos is also going to heartily recommend to Barak that he come check out Aramita's booth display and stuff. Not necessarily for what she is going to display, but what she might have working in Zabak.
Yes, she's been working on a few more of her elements. You guys have, I believe you guys went fully all the way with the Balestra, so they are like mass producible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did all the
showing
balloon,
off those designs.
And are we working on
the cart?
We're working on the cart, and we still got the mechanical man, which Barak, well, honestly, the self-propelled cart and the fucking
both of those are technically clockworks, because they are based on like springs and gears.
So
man, I wish I had I wish I had a telepathic bond with Inos.
What? Never mind.
Sorry, my notes displaced.
Teleported to somewhere else. What are you trying to remember? Like, we could have met.
Oh no, I'd want to show him my hand. Which is mostly clockwork.
Yes, no, unfortunately, that probably has not come.
Maybe not literally show Nicola's hand, but if it comes up in conversation, if Inos is bringing his trick blade down already, you could also be like, "Hey, look at my associate, the court physician. He built himself a hand. Look at this."
I'll just take the entire hand, not Nicola.
No, you don't have to do that. Like I said, Nicola's made a point before to talk about how he has several anatomical and design sketches of his process.
Yes.
Barak is very interested in the design for mimicking, the full range of humans. But he does personally, because the energy, the work to power this device is provided by sorcery, he does think it's cheap.
Yeah. It is. It's unfortunately there is no way to make it like it can get it has full perfect range of movement. It's just there's no way to have the brain connect to the arm without sorcery yet.
Yeah, not in this timeline, but later. But yes, so I was just double checking. I don't. Actually, would I have that in that part or here? I have Aramita's inventions listed at a couple of places to double check where we're at with stuff. Let me, if I actually noted it down with that. No, okay, that's definitely the later one. I can double check the text phase. We'll give Loth? Fuck.
Loth.
Wow, I'm terrible tonight. Kill me. God, take me now. But
can I just do a Stormcast?
But what I was gonna say was we need Loth to get his electrostimular. But I was also gonna say not to toot your own horn too much, because many people are engaged through all 4 hours of the session, but you did get some stuff done already today, Loth. You already sold your diamond and shit, clocking out things that have been working for months. Also, the thing I'm trying to remember, which is probably why my brain is not speaking good, was I'm pretty sure we did not actually, put all 3 points in the mechanical knight yet.
I don't remember. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, we put points in it.
Because I think
it.
Inos was personally putting points in that, but since you can only put in like one a month, I don't think it was fully funded.
I definitely put in one because that shit was by special interest.
I just don't know if Logesh or Konrad have actually put points in.
Logesh didn't have the money to do it definitely until now. Konrad, I think, would be distracted by other stuff.
If we were in a future setting, Nicola would be Cable at this point. Like,
but I know that you, Leslok, were interested in you've been putting like 1 or 2 points in the cart.
Yes, I think
so. You've invested in the self-built cart. So she probably doesn't. Basically, all of that was to say that at her little area. Again, she might actually have like quite a large, booth or stage set up. I don't think she's actually at her full mechanical knight. Let me see if I can find it in my if it. No, I should make sure to say in Secret Tabletop. Otherwise, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, because I know I had specifically asked if Nicola could possibly help her with that.
Oh no! Okay, I see it right here. I think you did put your personal point in cart, but I have a post from the 1st of December last year. But Inos put 1 point in Mechanical Knight, and then Axe says to put 2 points into the Mechanical Knight.
Okay.
She has her full Mechanical Man up.
I think that's to finish that something.
Yes. No, that is fully done. I will make sure then. Let me go to my list for her. Because the other thing that Inos suggested was into the parachute. Which, yes, you have also fully funded the parachute. She's not showing that off. She's holding that in, but yeah, we're okay. So we'll talk about this later, but yes, she's got one in the cart. And we're fully on the Mechanical Knight. So yeah, that's probably what she's doing most of the week, which Barrack would be very impressed by, because the Mechanical Knight is, like, basically it's a suit of armor that's instead of full of a man, it's full of, gears, weights, pulleys, etc. There's a bunch of, like, cables on the ground, so you pull the right cables and set the right alignments, and he does certain, preset moves. She's been working on this for probably the better part of a month, so he can do some very simple systems like he can sit down, he can stand up, he can lift his visor, he can like tilt his helmeted head up and down. She's working on like basically the programming to get him to like pace back and forth kind of a thing. It's not quite right yet, but she's fine tuning the weights. And Barrack is definitely like very very interested in that. Amazing what you can do with clockwork. From large to small. That's the Mechanical Knight waving.
Oh, that song. Sorry, I also saw what it was.
Yeah. All right.
We do a little song posting here.
A little. But well, before I like grab a couple, well, they're just small things, but throughout the week, like I said, Enos is going to continue attending the curias. He's probably not allowed into the privy councils, not anymore. But he would like to also take Noctiluca out on the fair if she's interested, and the same with Princess Estelle. If he is able.
She'll definitely be. Both of them will be walking around.
Mm.
Stella's actually quite interested in some of your developments from artistic and whatnot. You can probably show her the quadratura, for instance, area.
I'll definitely show her the quadratura.
I feel like Noctiluca is more pragmatically minded. Like, she does, like the arts and artistry, but definitely is very interested in seeing the various collections of devices and things.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say I have one more from my table. I want to say this would probably be when you were having your meeting with Barak.
Okay.
But it could be at any time. The Clockmakers Guild does have some devices they were showing off as well. Their latest mechanical abacus, aka the calculator.
Gasp.
These are like really boxy devices, but they have basically numeral dials from 0 to 9, and has display dials on top. And basically, by rotating the other dials, the machine automatically counts up, including carrying the 1.
Wow.
Amazing.
Like
that is amazing.
They're big and bulky, but they have a couple of simple, different models. So like they can do, just counting, hundreds places, probably to like at least like the 10,000s. It's not like a push calculator or a digital calculator where it's like 2 + 2 = 4, but it's like if you turn the dial 2 2, or 1 1 to make 2, and then we go, and then again you get 4, kind of a thing. It counts up, but they do have models for converting currency.
Oh, okay.
Like, so you can go like turn the dial for so many, what's so many pen marks in half marks, etc.
That'd be useful.
Kind of a thing. And have set up at least one model they make to convert for lengths, distances, for surveying and stuff. Which is also really good because you guys are pre-metric. This game system uses, feet and yards and shit. Miles. So that shit is confusing.
What is a kilometer? I can't.
What the fuck is a kilometer? Fire two volley guns into the air.
It's too late. We defeated the Imperials. They were going to bring us the metric system.
We killed the metric system, literally.
But yeah, so they've got a bunch of calculators and stuff, and they also have a fun little device which is like you combine a calculator with systems called slide rules and something that's called mathematician's bones, which is not actually a purely mechanical device, but they're a series of ivory rods that basically have multiplication tables printed on them, and you basically rotate them through until you find the right one. But yeah, no, like they have like calculation devices and stuff. That would be very interesting. And like I said, Barak will gestures over them like, oh, that is what our guild is working on selling all the time. They're a little heavy and a little finicky, but if you wish to convert currency or lengths, it is all very good.
What's our general level of education for like the common folk?
Your average commoner, there's no like educational revolution. You probably have, the classic single room schoolhouse type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, like your average, common class citizen, is not going to know how to read well.
Mm-hmm.
They may understand their basic letters, but they're not going to be like have a very advanced vocabulary. You probably teach like simple maths, in schoolroom. Like most people probably know their currency conversion tables because they have to handle money in their daily life. But like your average, like, day laborer, farm guy, like they're going to be very, very poor to middlingly educated.
So I'm just trying to think like how useful would these mechanical abacuses be?
As mass-produced, I mean, they are very tactile, so they could be useful to schools to teach, simple counting and arithmetic. But the main thing would be that if you wanted to get a bunch of these, I mean, the ones for like surveying distance and stuff could be very handy for some of your future plans with maps.
Mm-hmm.
You wombo combo these with the lithograph, you can get very rapidly calculate distance on surveying, and then combine that with mass producing the maps you make.
Mm-hmm.
your like the primary thing this would be good for is probably your like middle and upper classes, like your bureaucrats, bankers, anybody in guild work who has to tabulate like money or numbers fast.
Yeah. No, Inos will put in an order for a few of each.
Okay, get a couple of models, yeah.
Get a couple of models, because unfortunately Inos isn't like I said, Inos isn't quite as sure if like how useful these things will be overall, but he wants to get a few to test them out, put them in some people's hands, be like, yes, tell me how this made you feel, kind of thing.
I will say, if later, you guys have not explicitly done it, but if later, because Logesh ordered a dictionary, if he tells you guys about, or shows you guys the dictionary he got, I would say that means you guys are probably getting the earliest levels of an educational revolution, because you're like, hey, we have a book that's full of words and meanings that is mass producible. Hey, here's a mass producible device that does simple math for you.
I feel like we're close to a typewriter.
Logesh was interested in the dictionary and the encyclopedia because he's thinking of a way to try to help the education in our city.
Printing presses.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you guys want to collaborate later about it, like Inos can show the gang his calculators, and if Logesh brings up his dictionary, it's like I said, you're getting pretty close, and possibly you'd be getting. I'd have to look at exactly when the typewriter about, because it requires a little bit of machine manufacturing for like the ink ribbons and stuff.
Oh yeah, that
but
makes sense.
You're getting technologically closer and closer to a I don't even know if you'd call it a typewriter at this point, but like a desktop printing press, right? Like if you just preassemble all the mechanicals, you can get it out to there, and like I said, the.
Sorry, I'm looking it up right now. Hang on. And I found something.
Part of why you wanted to throw the Norlon Faire, and part of what I've been building into it, is the idea is that you're headhunting people to add to Aramita's think tank.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, we're gonna Konrad took a business card for Mr. Noak. Good old Nuck the gunsmith, that kind of stuff. You guys take a couple notes here, a couple notes there. This will open up new further shit for Aramita to work on.
Yeah, I also definitely want to take it. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like our earliest actual typewriter was an Italian made called the Scrittura Tattile, machine to impress letters and papers. And then 1714, we had a English inventor that appears something to be similar to a typewriter.
All right, I'll do a little research. We might put this in Aramita's a tab later.
Yeah, let me copy
Definitely sounds like something that would go in the Clockworking Guild. Like I said, it might just be like a desktop printing press rather than a what we think of as a modern mechanical typewriter, but you could do a lot with Clockworks, chat. If you balance springs and gears and levers correctly, you can do some real freaky shit.
Yeah, I'll try to copy this damn image. There we go. Apparently it looked like this.
Yeah, that does look like a desktop printing press. A little weird to operate, I guess. I'm just thinking of how fucking arcane that's gotta be, because I assume those pegs sticking up are the letters, the typeface.
Yeah.
So that's got to be so funny to stand at the end and Hey, I'll do some more research. We'll definitely add this to her tab for this.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I'll throw it out there also because I rolled a 0 before. I think you guys are actually going to go on enough dates and trips out onto the Faire for me to go through all my random D10 list. I also want to say, in addition to the Quadratura, Sorry, I bent down to get a pen. Inos, while you're out with Princess Estelle, she probably catches note of this, but the Painters Guild is showing some displays of synthetic pigments.
What?
Yeah, by recombining, chemically isolated elements, they are producing, new forms of colors. Like if you want bright blue, like proper ultramarine blue, you need lapis, which is very expensive. But by using metallic salts from sulfur and alum, they can mimic ultramarine blue. They can also produce new forms of yellow and white pigments using elements of like antimony or zinc white. And basically the idea is that, they're like, it means that certain colors are like very expensive to produce for both dyes and pigments for painting. And so it can be very, difficult to come across. But as they expand chemically their repertoire, it can make paints more affordable and can make them more common in areas where you wouldn't normally have them. And as some of you may recall, Princess Estelle has like fucking 5 dice in student arts. Like painting is, her passion.
Well, are they selling these pigments?
Oh yes, yeah. Like I said,
I'm going
these
to
are
then buy two full sets for Princess Estelle. So she may
experiment at her leisure. Yes.
Yes, experiment. Thank you for having the word. I couldn't think of them at this time. But yes,
We
experiment.
are all
My
a bit
brain
newbies
is
in this.
little known fact. My brain is actually a dictionary. Actually, I think I have told that story before, but I was called a human textbook in college for my amazing ability to read and recall what was written in the textbooks.
Neat.
I vaguely recall this.
But yeah, no, yes. So yes, she will graciously accept your gift, Master Inos.
Woo.
And yes, we'll experiment with them. She does probably mention that, as said, that like, obviously it's no problem for her as a member of the royal family to acquire, proper ultramarine blue, but it is a very expensive process that takes a long time. Because once again, you need to produce the color we think of as ultramarine. That is literally ground up lapis, and you gotta mix it like just right with the binder so it's like that perfect shade of blue.
Crazy.
Right up Space Marines.
Space Marines.
Ultramarine.
Okay, so I wasn't the only one thinking of that.
Yes, no, it's the gag from Emperor's Text-to-Speech, but is also actually a track. But yes. All right. Sorry, I'm posting my own, musical reference joke in here, and I'm always astonished by how long YouTube URLs are sometimes. This is from an actual 40K game, but yes, this is the track that always plays in Emperor's Text-to-Speech whenever the Ultramarines are in the background. It's very memorable. Okay, all right. Not to Luke. Roll. It's very funny, but it works for Noctiluca. While you're on your Noctiluca date, Inos, you're trying to look for new things that you haven't seen before. There's another gunsmith. There's a lot of gunsmiths in town. This one's down from Drakesboro. He's been working closely with the Iron Demons, who your culture does use, grenades, crash bombs. You fill thin iron balls or just stone cut with demon fire and ignite. Anyway, he's produced something which you might call a hand mortar or a grenade musket. It's a 2-handed device with a big pan. You put the grenade with the fuse in the big ignition pan inside the big tube, and you fire it. He can fire either incendiary projectiles made of canvas that do area shock, or clay and brass shrapnel, area killing. It probably is still like slow one, but it can do some damage out there. But also, he talks about he's been experimenting with using it to fire lead balls on a line to use for other uses, including rescuing foundering ships. But yeah, probably you can use this to propel, grenades basically to medium range instead of short range. And it's very funny that that's the one I rolled on that day out.
Well. Inos, unfortunately, isn't too overly interested in more explosives, but he will turn to Nicola and ask if she finds that interesting. He doesn't imagine that she uses grenades a lot in fighting Monstrum.
Well, we do occasionally throw alchemical grenades. The local... Oh my god, what are they called? I forgot what the... Miniades, that's right.
Man-bats!
The Miniades are easily frightened by loud sounds and bright lights. So, I'm sure if you've ever seen one of Sir Dr. Nicola's fulminating jars. But I do not think they would survive the process of this device. But it is curious. In her mind, Dr. Lucas thinking if you could replace the lead ball with a grapnel.
Fun concept.
That has potential.
It's not as stealthy as Batman's grapple gun, but yeah.
His is impossible.
Like I said,
design, considering the
this is
size of it.
I did actually look up the history of hand mortars and grenade launchers, and yes, there were actually early patented rescue devices for boats, which was yes, so we put a black powder charge inside a gun and we fire a lead ball on a stout cord.
No, we
shoot it to your boat.
Well, I take that back. 20 years ago, we still use that. We put fucking...
I'm sure in the Navy today they still have similar devices.
Yeah.
This is obviously very crude because, like I said, it's just you put black powder in the priming pan and shoot it like a musket. But yes,
it's especially important with Navy because, from what I know, and obviously I don't know everything, but there's a lot of areas where you're out to sea where there's just no signals for stuff, so you have to rely on more traditional things.
Oh yeah, it's just called a line gun. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, so this is a grenade musket / hand mortar, but it can be used for dealing out damage, but also has interesting, funny applications.
Fun fact, technically the first grenade launcher predates the first gun by 700 years, 800 years. Because it was in China where they would just launch fireworks at you. Essentially.
Sorry, I'm thinking of a conversation we had the other day. Shooting fireworks at men.
Anyway, Inos is also probably interested in the throwing lines and ship foundering potential. Does he actually have an example? Does the Smith actually have an example of that? Or is it just something that's in concept right now?
No, yes, it says it can also fire. So yes, he can show you. He will admit it's the second part he came up with after just being what if we could use a musket to throw a grenade? But then he's and there's this. So yeah, he can actually demonstrate it to you. Load a fist-sized lead weight on a big tough cord, fire it, and line goes out.
Behold.
All right. Inos is going to buy one. Not to use, because he's going to give to Eremita and be make this better.
You made this. We made this.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, hey, that guy's from Drakesburg. She might, again, if you guys want to give her a little more discretionary funding and, give her some, a campus to actually sit on these guys, she might go hire that guy.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with your design. Come, let's improve it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you unlock the project for the grapnel gun.
Yes.
Yes.
But no, we do need to get Eremita the start. We need to get the Eremita the start of her damn college. Her entire damn college. The Star College.
big campus. All right.
Time
Okay.
U.
Star
TU.
Star
So
Institute.
that is.
Star Labs. Wait. Wait. Hold on. Why are there things coming from the sky?
But I do have one last mandatory invention to check out, which would probably be the Marquess. I think would be the most. He'd be the most interested in this device. But there is a display that's been set up by some alchemists from the college who are part of the Lady Magister's entourage. Nicola might also take note, but I think this goes directly to Leslok's interests. So they're from the Department of Etherics. You know, keeping in mind they have different departments or schools with each element.
Yep. They're the
Etherics is mostly interested in. I mean, they're basically the alchemical college's like theoretical physics department. They are mostly interested in big, high concept, loosey-goosey, aether-related stuff of like, hey, what's this electric current shit? How does energy, go from one place to another? But if you're willing to follow this along, she has set up, this Magistra has set up a device known as a friction machine. So, it's a glass sphere with a hand crank inside a woolen sheet. You crank the crank to generate excess etheric, sometimes referred to as electric, charge. So this static electricity, basically, spoilers, static electricity, has been long observed, but was thought to be spontaneous. But this is, as described, a process of clashing aethers. You rub the glass against the wool and you produce this device. However, step 2, the friction machine is just a demonstrator. That's just a way to generate etheric charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they've instead worked out is a device they're calling the static jar or the battery, similar to how you have a battery or a series of guns held in battery. This is a glass bottle filled with salt water. It has a thin tin coating on the outside with a metal spike driven through a cork. If you attach the bottle, the spike, to the friction machine via a wire, usually a copper wire, and you crank it, the charge goes into the bottle, but is not discharged. This is basically similar in principle to the fulminating jar, as previously discussed. But the way a fulminating jar works is it's an alchemical reaction that violently creates, a bright flash of light and a clap of thunder. This is a slow, steady, static charge that does not violently explode. They do dump all of their charge at once if you touch a conductor. So there's no like metered charge. But yes, they're working on developing these experiments. But yeah, this is the first battery.
I almost feel embarrassed to say the first idea that came to mind.
Is it shocking the elephant?
No, it's we get an air gun to shoot like a metal rod, but we have the battery that connects to the metal rod to like unload all of its charge into the thing with the metal rod embedded in it. So I guess shocking the elephant, but
I mean, electric guns are straight out of Jules Verne, but that's probably not the most efficient use because you would need to run the cable and not discharge into the gun.
See, this is the difference in brain patterns. My immediate thought was to create that thing at school book fairs where it's a glass orb with like a bunch of electricity coming out of it, and you can touch it, and the electric currents will go to your fingers. Yeah,
that was
my first.
Volcano.
I was imaging the thing we were doing already as a plasma ball, so I was just moving from there.
I mean, it kind of is like you don't see the plasma quite inside, but yeah, the friction machine is like literally it's a glass sphere on a hand crank, like that you place a wool sheet over to juice it up. But yeah, no. So like, you, Leslok, are introduced to the static jars and the friction machine, which is basically the world's first static electricity experiments and the first chemical battery. Like the alchemist is basically like mostly experimental, but it is a method by which you can generate power. Currently, it is generated via hand crank. But, I'm just saying. And if you want to follow this up later, you were given a name. That would be Professor Leone.
I just need to make the think take list. It's just like it's Stack. Was that guy? It's Nuck. The only. There's one other guy too. I just forgot a name of them.
Which guy are you thinking of? Because we got a few. There's Schwangau, the chemistry guy.
I think it was Schwangau actually. Or actually, it was the Printers Guild.
If you're thinking of lithography, that was not necessarily the invention of a person, but that's like
the guild.
The culmination of the Stationers Guild's technology. Technology.
That's more of something I'd be like, all right, you get a budget increase.
I mean, like I said, I'd have to double check. Lithography was not really used for book printing in real life. You can use it to like replicate text, but it's not the most efficient. Like I said, what it's most efficient is if you have a single sheet image. So
maps, yeah,
music sheets, maps, and some forms of artistic print. It can be used to rapidly check, but you could use that for like static charts, plans, diagrams, etc. Like if it doesn't need to be multiple sheets but rapidly replicated. But yeah, no, like I said, I tracked down a few inventions from roughly around this equivalent time period to throw at you with stuff. While you're out and about Leslok, I've randomly rolled in. You find that members of the Glassblowers Guild are showcasing, new designs in optics. The triangular prism.
Ooh.
Takes white light and diffuses it into multiple colors.
Now,
keep in mind, they're just the glassmaking guild. They have no idea what to do with this. But the Astrologue Observatoire is very interestingly studying this diffusion of light, But the prism is a repeatable effect.
Why do I have the urge to put this on an album cover?
The production of finer and finer prisms may be able to, further developments on optics. But for now, it's a curiosity. But it's a cool thing you can put on your desk. Pretty sure I actually own a triangular prism from a museum gift shop.
That feels
somewhere.
like that would be probably on those like shelf of like weird monstrum knickknacks and weird alchemical or science things he just has.
But yeah, let's see. Where are we at? We're about 3 hours. We don't have to end early, but I'm kind of curious if you guys have anything else you want to do before we get to Aramita's thing. We can probably end on that.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I will then let you guys think about who you want to ask as extra guests to the gala at the end. I think over the week. To spoil the last two I have not rolled on my list, just because I want to talk about them, because you guys did actually spend a decent amount of time at the fair, even if it was going on dates and schmoozing. Number one was the chicken catapult. It was the chocobo gun. It's not actually a practical idea, but a bunch of students from the Academy of Architecture, the architecture school, have built a compact catapult which they use to throw live chickens into the air who, annoyed, flutter back to the ground. They do joke about trying to feed the chickens demon fire to make them explosive, but it's mostly just like an engineering prospect. But it does kind of show off, if you guys had randomly rolled it, and in general, I think we're moving towards it. That means that there's at least half a dozen, engineering students who don't have anything better to do.
Cool. Have work.
I do have
the
one.
Yeah, no. You can say it in a second, but just let me say the other one on the table. The last one is the Extincateur. Hey kids, we've invented the fire extinguisher.
Neat.
A series of copper vessels in various sizes, usually a couple of gallons. But they have an air pump to compress air, and they fire a solution made from what's called pearl ash. It's used for baking, soap making, and extinguishing grease fires. But basically, you pump it full of air, and it makes a solution based on pearl ash. When you operate it, it shoots a liquid, which douses fires, even fires which are not naturally doused by pure water.
Nicola will love this.
Yes.
It was designed by a lamplighter captain, but he was working with the Chemists Guild. He basically says that he hopes they might be equipped to fire brigades all over the province, if not the country someday. But this is his first, working examples.
Leslok, give this man a medal. If you don't have medals yet, invent one.
Hey, look, I made the solution for Nicola's phobia about alchemist firebirds.
Well, also just it's literally I cannot understate to you how much the idea of the man portable fire extinguisher is like integral to the modern concept of fire safety.
Like this one device, unironically, is like it's like the seatbelt. It's not. It doesn't seem very important, but it reduces fatality rates at a ridiculous measure.
Now it is the early phases, like I said. It's you get pressure in it by fucking hand pumping it. So like it's not perfect, but it is a huge step in like you guys don't have access to like fire trucks yet and shit like that. You don't have a good.
No, I was thinking about it. Like, if a fire breaks out, we either have to do bucket brigades or basically just let it burn and try to make sure it doesn't spread. I don't think we actually have. We don't have actual firefighting methods. Not like
or the Japanese method of like crushing the building before it burns.
Brigades.
I mean,
that's
the making sure it doesn't spread. You don't save the building.
Tear down. You can dig fire breaks. Like I said, you guys would have like certain chemical powders that you could throw over like small fires. Like I said, humans understand like that you can't use water on a grease fire, for hundreds of years, and have been like, that's bad. But this is your first method to build a arguably man-portable device which can extinguish fires. Like I said, they're like a gallon or two in size, and they're hand-cranked operated. But, you're working on it.
This is the thing I feel like I almost think like Nicola would always volunteer to be like, I'm going to help improve this design or something.
He might work on it. And like I said, I've introduced you to the CO2 guy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. His name and that guy's list will go in the think tank. Okay, we're just gonna put that there. Just have this list here and put that on a wall somewhere.
Mr. Schwango. Also, I mean that's a complete luxury, but fine sparkling waters, excellent. But also, he's got a method for chemically extracting and permeating liquids with CO2. Like I said, after Summer Court, Aramida's research tab list will have some fun new tricks in it.
Yeah.
We definitely got to get that think tank going.
Well, I think we have at least a chunk of the names there.
Yeah, but where do we put them?
All right, we have to make a building for it. We have to make a dedicated building.
Okay, so until we have a dedicated building, they can crash at my house once the Summer Court's done. I have a big empty house.
He did buy he bought a very expensive house once upon a time. But yeah, you'll probably need some bigger dedicated facilities, but you'll need to figure out where you want to put it.
My house is going to become the first college fraternity.
Gotta build a fucking frat house. Let us end where we began and talk about Aramida's hot air balloon display. This is going to go all the way to Fern Day, so if you guys do have some stuff to go... Actually, wait. That's right, Nicola, you said you had something.
I would have one quick thing. And Nicola would have asked, probably, because you said this is going to be on the day before the gala, so Nicola would probably ask this before that. He was going to ask Alestra if she had any intentions of inviting someone to the gala, or if she had been invited.
Well, hey, here's the fun fact. We talk about this. The plan originally, it was originally 5, but we moved it down to get some flexibility. So, you guys definitely don't have enough invites for everybody.
Yep.
So, you, Nicola, have a +1. You could, and as I have already done with the guests, because I've mostly got everybody else figured out. There will it's not just dating, but it can also be like escorting siblings, other kinds of things back and forth. I definitely don't think Nicola would ask for an extra bonus, even on the sly. But if you wanted to, you could take Alestra as your guest. You could be like, I'm showing up. I'm Nicola. I'm escorting my sister.
It was going to be my plan unless she had other plans.
No, she would not have been picked by anyone else at this stage.
Yeah, that's my +1s.
I will just get this out in the open because we're thinking about it. I am assuming, but we will confirm, that Leslok is inviting Nerissa.
But yes, that goes without question.
Yeah. spoilers. The royal family doesn't have enough math.
Fair.
And 2, Konrad is inviting Rena, who
Yes.
could technically go on House Verity's like numbered invites, but we can also make the guesting work.
Kevis is probably on that list. If not, I'll have to ask as a +1, but we'll see if Aramita's around.
Well, Aramita Star does not have a standing invite. You guys are using all 4 player characters who are not Inos. We cheated and let Inos go in as it's his event that he's hosting, so of course he doesn't need to invite himself.
Yep.
That'd be silly.
Gods, Inos does not have an invite. Get him out. No,
Gods take the house
if
early.
you guys want to give more space to yourself, like I said, Enos has given himself room to play favorites. If you guys want to think about inviting some more of your scholars and the like, you could see about that. House-wise, you guys are not bringing a lot of banners. Enos went out of his way to, again, specially invite Lucy Essek, and she's bringing Ike Wayland. It will be her plan. But yeah, you guys are kind of loosey-goosey right now. I'll say it because I was hoping we'd get some against, but obviously we got other stuff going on. You guys are not making a lot of extra invites from your house. If you wanted to include some banners, if there was some people you wanted to do, technically you could de-invite Logesh, and Logesh could go as somebody's guest, and you could free up a couple of slots to bring members of your own house along because of some math rearrangements. Technically, I don't know if you guys would know this out of character, but Logesh would have been talking with Ainara a couple of times during the week, so he would know. She technically does not have a +1 like locked in. So Logesh could go as Ainara's +1, and you guys could have a full invite for House Logi to assign to somebody that you like Aramita, like Aunt Ebel. I don't know, one of your teams, one of the lads' moms who are currently not going.
Vague castanets play in the distance.
Logesh would put forward Ember Palak's name. Get her out there.
I was considering Palak.
Well, you could do that. I mean, if you are still normally invited, you could take Ember Palak as your +1. But like I'm just saying, if you would have, this is a diabolical trick I realized when I was doing the math earlier. That, like I said, right now, Ainara has a free +1 that I have not assigned, so we could do some wombo combo.
Oh yeah, I go as a +1.
And you guys don't have to tell Lockett in tonight. I'm just saying this is like something I was working on and thinking up earlier, so we could tabulate.
Fucking Gonk Droid, slow down.
Oh god, otherwise I just think about like Lady Maja. I feel like that'd be like a way to make it be nicer to her, but I'm not sure how that will go. Who'd she even bring with her?
Who knows?
I'd like to bring with her, but I don't know what she would do with the gun.
Socialize?
Well, hang out.
Yeah, fair.
Talk to people.
Make her own time.
Have fun. Party.
Party hardy.
And commit acts of unspeakable violence.
Well, I mean,
Lady White was her
I would
+1,
say this. I think
hilarious.
there's a very simple. If you did pick Cressida as your extra, she would escort Aurelia to the party. Aurelia is not currently invited.
Yeah, Aurelia was also an option I was thinking about. Yeah.
So
yeah, I was figuring. Look, I had my +1 decided for me when my romantic interests are not in the country, so
he's got a very simple strategy.
Yeah.
God, I mean, I put the Marin twins elsewhere to, cause Nicola to possibly have the opportunity to brood like a proper Byronic hero. It would have been much funnier now that we decided on the gala to have them here, but that's something I'll work out later. All right, okay. Well, like I said, we can consult it for laters. Where was I? Aramita. She's got a couple places she could do the balloon thing. Do you guys want to do it inside the outer bailey of the Citadel or in the town square?
Well, the thing about the balloon was once it gets up high enough, everyone will be able to see it.
Yes.
So,
and being in the outer bailey will be at the top of the hill, so you'll already have a little bit of starting. It's just a question of if you want the people to be able to see the whole process.
there's something to be said about exclusivity. And if it gets high enough, the common folk will be able to see. So I say we do it in the Outer Bailey.
Sounds good.
Also, personally, gives less chance that someone's going to do something stupid.
All right,
This is a very delicate operation.
We need less extraneous factors.
All right, she'll set up in the Citadel. So the balloon's body is made from a huge amount of cotton canvas. It's very carefully sealed. It's treated to keep the air inside. Varnished with alum to make it resistant to fire. It's attached to a frame, and it is currently anchored to posts that are tied to the ground. She lets you guys know, the day of as she sets up. She's got tethers of about 100 feet in length. Before she actually goes throughout the flight, and probably she's probably done this lecture a couple times during the week, but to the assembled audience, which will include the High King, she will explain the process that she came to. Basically, she observed that ash and smoke from incense and paper fires rise naturally, but chimney smoke lingers before it rises above the cloud layer. So, fire and air possess levity, but they cannot defy the gravity of the entire world instantly. So you should be able to balance lift of a large volume of hot air versus the weight of a small number of people and achieve, neutral buoyancy, much like how you can, make a vessel float on water if it's filled with air. She does have several scale models or previously established paper lanterns with candles. She will demonstrate the effect. Those paper lanterns with candles are gone. They fucking fly away.
Goodbye.
I'm picturing that fucking school exam or thing you would do. You make a parachute for an egg.
Mm-hmm. Well,
For
luckily,
once,
she actually has parachutes. You guys did fund that, so she's got them. They are actually like backpacks with more, deployable sails of treated canvas ready to go, which should counteract the human weight without being too heavy. She will say that she has performed basic experiments with animals such as apes, cockerels, and a duck to prove that it is mostly safe. Like, you're not going to die if you go 100 feet into the air. So she's got, the balloon is attached to the basket. It's made of lightweight wicker. It's armed with sandbags for ballast. She points out what she's got going on. She's got a big iron brazier, which has the fuel mixture she's picked. She explains that's got it's a mixture of wool and hay that's soaked in pine tar to last longer. Mm-hmm. The fuel source is one area where she's looking to improve, but for now it's set up.
What kind of fuel is she using?
Like I said, it's a mixture of like shredded wool and hay soaked in pine tar.
Ah, okay.
So it will slow burn, but
slow burn. Yes.
In real life, part of the reason why hot air balloon became possible was the use of hydrogen fuels and stuff like that. You guys haven't like, or even like, liquid or gaseous, natural gas or propane and stuff. You're not quite there, but that it could be a zone she could improve in is fueling. You could also figure out a way to fuel the burners like magically, but that's a project for later. But basically, she's got enough fuel to have it maintain the flight for a maximum of at least several hours. They probably won't actually stay up that long today, but it will be enough for her to, repeat the process several times. She explains the principle to everybody. You ignite the fire, it heats the balloon, it rises, it reaches a point where it reaches a stable height. If you let the fire die back down, it slowly anchors back to Earth. She can, cast off the sandbag ballasts to make it go lighter. There's also, you can pull cords and vent air from the bag to have it descend more sharply, stuff like that.
Okay.
So, she's out here, by the way. She's got blacksmith's gloves and apron on, so she can, light the burner and stuff. And basically explains as you're all standing here. With her as the pilot, because she has to, operate the burner and the ballast. The balloon she has made of this size has enough, because you did fully fund this project ahead of time. Good job, team. She didn't have to cut any corners or do anything funny. But it should be able to hold 2 passengers in addition to herself, or 1 if they are particularly heavy, such as if they were in a lot of armor. So, now here's the point of who's going up first. The High King is in attendance, obviously, and it will be pretty prestigious to be one of the first people to go up in a hot air balloon to let slip the bonds of this surly earth. But while it won't kill you to go up 100 feet, it is not completely safe, guaranteed. There are parachutes in case of emergency, but it's a risky business, so you might not want to send, your High King up first.
Inos will go. He will do the safety check with Aramita.
All right. You've got room for one more. Inos is pretty light. Anybody else you want to extend this great prestige to?
Who else would like to probably go up?
I mean, I'll state the obvious. Leslok is her patron. That would be a decent excuse. But he is your Marquess, so the same rules of safety apply.
Yes, no, I would rather not risk the Marquess.
Konrad will go if no one else does.
Yeah, Nicola is ducking his head as much as possible for this.
You didn't realize Nicola could be so small. Konrad works as a decent pick if you guys don't have any more adroit ones.
I would go on like maybe the second or third row just because I'd actually let it experience it, but I'll wait till it's proven, I guess.
Yes. All right. Comrade Inos.
Yep.
That okay? Everybody ready to go?
Yep.
All right. You guys clamber in.
Have fun.
Aramita lights it up. It takes you guys about 5 minutes to hit maximum height. But yeah, you go up. And like I said, you are stopped with a slight jerk. Hey, Inos, you're a natural climber, but how do you feel about being 100 feet up in the...
Not great.
I wouldn't think so. It's not quite the same as being on a boat, but it's weird.
No, he looks over the edge, he sees like there's 100 feet to the ground. He's like, I'm not on the ground. I'm not even close to the ground.
I just imagine Aramita just kind of is like, I do not recommend looking down.
Aramita, I'm looking down.
She just puts her other, leather glove hand on your shoulder and like, look to the horizon, my young friend. Look over there. It's Fjallif, the mountain of life. It's very tall still.
Enos
On the
does.
dawn of the third day, look to the east.
And Enos is probably struck by, seeing, the land, 100 feet up. Which is different.
Oh, yeah, no. You guys can see far. Actually, good question. Konrad, you want a spyglass? Would you bring your spyglass?
He'd probably carrying it with him without thinking, but because it is kind of
you're 100 feet up now.
So
But you, like I said, you guys are below the cloud layer, but are up. Aramita's not exactly sure what the maximum height is. She has not wanted to try untethered flight.
Huh.
Even she is a little like, that sounds a little crazy.
How far do you think I can see? And Konrad will take out his spyglass.
Oh man,
Brenton,
I don't even.
Brenton is that way, and I'll look towards Brenton.
Oh god, you're 100 feet up on a hill, which is supposed to have good sight lines. You might be able to see all the way. Brenton. Like, I don't know what the magnification on your your spyglass is like, but like, I imagine see the outlines.
It has a big citadel there, so I imagine I could probably see the citadel.
Yeah, you can see the cathedral and the buildings and stuff.
Oh,
you can
you can see the cathedral from up here. That's breathe.
Get me down.
All right. Well, we've been up here a little bit. Let us let the heat out, and Aramita will cut off the burner and slowly let it cool down, and you gently drift down about 5 minutes at a time until you back on the ground. But yeah, you guys, hey, you're the first balloonists in history. History's first aeronauts.
Enos, kind of just walked out. His knees has shaken a little. He's like, nothing to it.
You are probably not like swamped, but like the crowd of watching lords and ladies are definitely like oh, which would be a little warm but a little breezy.
Mm-hmm. It's like see further than ever thought possible. It's like seeing. It's like seeing. It's like seeing an ocean of land.
Ocean
Yeah,
land.
people are thinking. But yeah, to basically summarize, Aramita will take a couple of trips. Who would go? Maybe the Crown Prince. We'll do the Crown Prince first with the High King. Sure, let's do that. Let's have them go up next. Now that it's provable, and it's very fascinating. The High King is
Okay,
very
now the
vocal in his
assassins
praise
come
of
out.
like a wonderful project.
Right, I guess
Alias is more concerned. Actually, no. I think the High King would insist Leslok goes third.
Yeah, I was about to say I was like third of the rest. If the rest doesn't say no.
So yeah, no, you crank him up. Yeah, so Aramita basically is running this demo like all day until she runs out of fuel to keep going up and down, and would have to go produce more. So everybody present basically on your guest list has a chance to check this out. So she kind of discusses in between trips with you guys kind of the limitations. So like normally steering the balloon with precision is basically impossible. What you would have to do is she's noticed, going through the up and downs all day, that there are different like winds at different layers. So you might be able to ascend or descend to catch different wind currents. In general, in Troikaron, the wind tends to flow in the easterly direction. But there are a few different ways you could do that. By the way, that's also true in real life. Guess what? You guys are in the northern hemisphere of Mundi. But you guys don't know about the fucking Coriolis effect yet.
What's a hemisphere?
Well, you do
Fuck's
know
the
that the world's
sky?
supposed to be round.
What?
Okay.
It's
I was not
supposed
actually
to be
completely sure
spherical.
that.
Yeah, no, I think I mentioned it somewhere. It's theorized that Mundi is supposed to be spherical. There's that old Greek adage about, why do you see the sails of the ship kind of a thing. But you guys don't have the scale of distance. Definitely,
Oh, yeah,
I
we
would
would definitely, yeah, I guess with sailing ships disappearing over the horizon and stuff like that.
definitely up from the top of the balloon. You get enough length in that tether. The ground starts to look curved.
Like I said,
For sure.
It's an ocean of land.
But basically, you have limited options for being untethered, but you've already discovered basically the first application of tethered hot air balloons, which is, hey, Konrad went up in a spyglass and he could see from very long way away.
That's going to be great.
Congratulations, you've invented the observation balloon.
Yeah!
Ooh. Yeah.
So,
It
like...
begins.
But one thing you might think of, which if none of your characters are thinking of yet, Baroness Marin would say, and she will go up. She's been up in a crow's nest. She's not afraid. She probably concludes that it's entirely sailing, but she would probably point out, if none of you guys thought of it yet, wind witches should be able to push the balloon to generate extra lift and direction. The main thing would be the efficiency problem of, to move that much hot air would probably be as much as as much effort and time as it takes them to move a whole sailing ship to one of people. So not super efficient. But if they developed new spellcraft, they might be able to do it with more technique. But still, you might be able to get some balloon transit that way. But not only can Aramita work on improving the efficiency of the fuel to heat it, but she might also be able to increase the range of the balloon and the size of the basket, possibly going from like a little 2 or 3 man basket to maybe a boat-shaped gondola type apparatus for some sort of ship in the air.
Some sort of skyboat.
Yes.
Dirigible. of
No,
Air-
you're not. Dirigible is a rigid airship. You are far away from that. But there is
okay.
actually a what the project will actually be called when I detail it, because that is down the path of the ballooning, is the concept in like Renaissance and later era design was called the passerola. It's basically a like bird-shaped hot air balloon. So building a system like that where if she has the right fuels and the right mechanics, you can make a larger style airship device, which would probably look a lot like that GIF, to actually like sail, maneuver, position people. You're probably, at least not unless you guys get to inventing some very spicy fuels and probably enhancing magic, you're probably not going to be able to do like a deck full of, cast iron cannon and shot on an airship anytime soon. But if you needed to have airship battles, you could probably have, bunches of archers or riflemen riding on the sides and shoot from the rigging.
Well, actually, no. Do something a lot more simpler. Can we just tie explosives to the bottom of the airships and just drop them on targets?
Oh yes, no. If you want to do barrage balloons, yes, no. The system where air already figured out like sandbags for ballast. Yeah, you just replace those with like something volatile, like full of alchemist fires or fulminating jars or just some other chemical which detonates on impact.
Or even you
just put a fuse bomb.
Yeah.
Take a tip from the Harpooya and use iron fletchets.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. Just drop rocks.
No, it's like, while doing archers and stuff with stuff, that's putting a lot more weight on the balloon. It'd be better to, if we were to think of, air warfare, it'd probably be best to start with bombers.
Explosive.
We probably only
you
really
might still consider, like, if you could fit a small, I won't call it a gun crew, but a gun team to, like, for self-defense. There are flying monstrum.
That probably, yeah.
But yeah, again,
Oh no.
Oh, we're losing him?
He exploded.
Wait a bit and see if it comes back.
Hold.
Stay on target.
Stay on target.
Wait for it. Oh.
We're losing.
And there he goes.
Wait, did he go full offline? No, he's still on. He's just reconnecting.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes. But yeah, no, probably a minimum gun crew. Probably want to go with guns. Like I said, while we don't want to, while the archeries and crossbows are not to be understated, we probably want something that probably...
Rifles would probably, well, Konrad has thoughts on on making better bullets also. So,
well, I feel like I want to say, like, I feel that like bows and crossbows like take up, quote unquote, more space. I feel. I don't know if they're necessarily lighter. Well, bows are probably lighter. They're probably the lightest. Crossbows can probably be probably the heaviest, honestly. Because
bigger ones probably, yeah. Because they have a lot more metal on them for the winches and stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
I'm in the process of stopping and resetting the recording, but my Discord reset me. Reset spaghetti.
We're getting steady spaghetti.
But we're back. Yes, no, a crossbow with like steel and iron parts would be like fairly bulky, heavy. They're hard to compress. Araminta's Balestra is like very reliable on the mechanical work for the user, but it's still, I think I've shown you the Da Vinci crossbow examples. It's still decently bulky, and it's not like you can pack it up. If you unstring a bow, like a longbow, or even like you can make collapsing bows, like you can make those pretty light, but that has the range and power of a bow is directly related to draw strength, which is directly related to how much practice and skill the archer has.
And also how tall the bow may be as well. So that would...
Yeah.
Like if we're thinking like, sorry, this is me thinking militarily, so forgive me, but if we're considering, trying to keep our weight down and, have the most efficiency, probably riflemen would probably be best on balloons, probably with the complement of bombs, if we were to while considering on using them in battle, because while the gun crew would be good as self-defense, a gun crew would not necessarily be great unless there was enemy balloon action, balloon on balloon action, which I don't know if we're heading that way yet. Like I said,
big balloon battles.
At the moment, I don't think it's a concern because you guys have literally just invented and conducted the world's first hot air balloon flight. So, like, for now, all airship technology will stem from you.
Yes, but
like it's possible if you like give Aramida a shitload of money and she hires a fuck ton of people and like you spend a lot of time working on this, the knowledge will start to leak out. Yeah. But for now, like you're pretty locked in. I mean, like Aramida describes her basic like principles of the physics that make it work. So like somebody can probably start replicating her hot air balloon experiments, but they don't know like what her fuel mixture is like, like her exact like what she picked for the materials, etc. It will take experimentation to replicate her experiment.
No. Like I said, like honestly, like militarily wise, I think it's pretty good. Like I don't know if we'll be ready in time for that, but no, if we had like bomber balloons ready for the with like some sort of propulsion system ready for the Ivory Islands, we could literally just float over their stronghold, just drop a fucking bombs, and probably do a lot of damage to them. The unfortunate thing about that is that damage would probably be very indiscriminate, and we could possibly hit their captives / slaves at the same time.
Well, luckily, I don't think you guys will be at war balloons by fall. But you could definitely consider having Aramida make a couple more of her regular hot air balloons and using balloon observers like from the shore.
We can definitely try it. Like
because definitely a hot air balloon is going to be at way too high of an angle for the enemy to engage you with cannon.
Yeah.
Switch all the pops in 10 over to science jobs.
We're gonna crush that science, baby.
But no, this has interesting yet scary applications,
as new technology often does. But this was the purpose of the fair, was to foment new design and ideas and find some new science guys to give you more science projects to invest in.
Yes, we basically did.
If basically the simple system of like, if you give her a passarola, like I said, you give a gondola. It's basically like a boat-shaped hull with a balloon over it. That means you can probably include a rudder and maybe some like side sails to catch wind, so you could actually like steer this thing. Mm-hmm. Catch the wind and direct the momentum, and that means that you can have airship transit. Again, the cargo ratio's not super great, but ballast is part of the system, so you could set up runs to move things around. The main thing is you can move people. Humans are relatively light, all things considered. Think about how much space a human man takes up compared to 50-pound sacks of flour, right?
It's true.
So, like, you can fit a couple of people in lightweight gear in the same amount of space that would be much more efficient than packing, cargo. And that means information. But yes, it was one of the big projects that you guys, like I said, you guys made sure to fund it, and this was one of the things I got in line. Aramida's research tab is going to expand with her new projects to include a few new tips and tricks. And who knows, maybe you guys will, you're already... Feel free to, to have your various members of the team discuss, some of the things you've seen. Konrad encountered both the volley gun and purchased a couple of examples, or at least one example. And also, he's been talking with Mr. Noak about, the breech-loading gun.
Yeah.
you've experienced the battery, the friction machine.
There's all things I
Calculators, all kinds
like,
of
and it's
funny
like,
things.
I could do something with these. What if we combine some ideas?
Well, that's why we expand them. Okay. Well, we've been going for about 3:40-ish.
Yeah.
Technically a little longer than that because it took me a while to reset everything after my Discord decided to scrungle itself.
Scrungle the bungle.
Thanks,
I like the
Scribbles.
feel.
Go inside out, upside down. But pretty productive all around. So basically, we'll start off next session with the gala,
The gala.
which, knowing us, will either take the entire night or will take no time at all.
No in
Yes.
between.
It's honestly 50-50.
Yeah, there will be no in between.
I just want to aim for hopefully within the first 2 hours, but that's just being hopeful.
We'll see what happens, and then we'll be talking about tournament stuff.
You still have
Fights and stuff. All right, so that'll be where we leave off. Thanks everybody for listening in. The normal 2 XPs, boys.
Yeah.
Anybody finished your missions? You got them.
I gotta wait till summer court's over.
I should have changed my mission to sell that fucking diamond.
Omega.
Probably that would have been a good discrete mission.
In fact, I did. So I will come up with a new mission because my mission was to present at the fair.
I thought you were about to say your mission was to sell my diamond for me to sell my diamond.
Would be very funny, but no, he didn't contribute to that one. But he did include it. He gets to clock out the DXP. All right. Good work, gang. We'll be back next time for the gala. But you basically did a whole week.
Woo!
Yay!
Woo.